My boyfriend scheduled a mole removal procedure without talking to me.
Maybe he talked to the mole.
The background. I have a mole on the outside of my private area. It's about the size of a pencil eraser. It's never been a problem for me, and I don't mind it. It's hidden even in the skimpiest of bikini bottoms, doesn't hurt or get in the way of anything. It isn't lumpy, doesn't grow any weird hair, etc. It's just a harmless little bump on the side of my vulva that I've had since I was born. Even when I'm entirely unclothed, it isn't visible unless my legs are spread. So it's the kind of thing only me and my spicy sleep partners have ever seen. By the way, this comes from throwaway 1452 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So I've had an inkling that my boyfriend has never been a fan of this mole, but he won't admit it. Sometimes he'll absent-mindedly rub it between his fingers with his nose crinkled, like an expression. He's like, just
He
short
just
of disgust.
goes, he hits you with the,
like, shut up, dude. But when I asked him about it 2 different times, he insisted the not quite disgusted facial expression was unrelated. I assumed that he didn't like it, but knew it was none of his business or concern, and probably didn't want to say it because he didn't want to sound rude. He's asked me once if I've ever thought about removing it, to which I replied that it's always been a part of me and I wasn't interested in removal. The problem, my birthday was a few weeks ago. I've been getting Brazilian waxes since I was a teenager. It's just my personal preference. As a birthday present, my boyfriend prepaid for almost a year's worth of waxes at the med spa I've always gone to. This seems like a great gift. Useful, thoughtful, and saves me a ton of money. This med spa does a variety of other services as well as waxing. They do tattoo removal, laser hair removal, makeup tattoos, Botox, etc. I've had a standing appointment there every 3 weeks for years. This morning, I went to my regular appointment. My waxer, who I've known for years, gushed about how kind of my boyfriend it was to call in for my services, and we went about the wax as normal. There's an oil she uses that helps to soothe the skin after the wax, and I was waiting for that to soak in when she brought out a wand that I was not familiar with. I asked her what it was for, and she said the freezing. Like, I've had stuff removed with the freezing thing.
yeah.
Already know.
Does it hurt?
No. I assumed she was prepping for her next client and stayed on the table. Then she began wiping the oil off and applied a cream directly over my mole. At this point, I sat up and asked her what she was doing. She said, "Oh, this cream helps to numb the area before I freeze the mole. Then we'll cut it off and you'll just need a stitch or 2 and a bandage and then you'll be ready to go." Honestly, I would break up over this.
Yeah, I think if this isn't even a discussion and it's just like you tried to low-key do this, like without her acknowledgement or consent, it's like
ridiculous.
Honestly, disgusting.
Yeah, go remove your own moles. We fumbled through the awkward conversation that followed, and the bottom line is that my boyfriend had paid for my mole to be removed as well, $200, without telling me. The receptionist who books the appointments assumed that I knew, and I sign a yearly waiver for all services from them, so it was basically just slipped in. The receptionist said that my boyfriend asked about the process over the phone, so he was aware that this procedure involved cutting something off my body and would involve anesthetic and stitches. Immediately break up.
Not really any universe in which this is okay.
Zero universe. Zero universe.
No.
Guys, I'm furious and cannot tell if my reaction is justified or if I'm seeing red for no real reason. This feels like such a breach of my personal boundaries, not to mention disrespectful of my bodily autonomy.
Indeed.
Yeah. I know it's small, but it's plastic surgery. There is no medical backing to having this mole removed. It would be entirely cosmetic. I obviously didn't go forward with the procedure, and now I'm struggling with whether my anger is appropriate to the situation. I have not talked to him about this yet. It happened this morning, and I will be seeing him this evening when I get home from work. Right now, I'm thinking of breaking up with him, but feel like that may be an overreaction and can't tell if my judgment is clouded. What would be an appropriate way to address this situation? Break up with him.
Yeah.
Break up with him.
I mean, look, yes, break up with him, but like if you feel like you don't want to make this guy see the light, you need to start being like, all right, well, let's do a little bit of an enlargement procedure.
Yeah, no, every time you're having spicy sleep, you go,
And then maybe he'll understand that that's just not how you
it's pretty messed
interact with your partner. It can be a conversation,
I think,
but like it can't be something that you do without her approval. And I feel like the reason that it was done like that was because he got a sense that she'd be like, well, no, I'm not going to do that.
OP can do whatever she wants. We can only offer advice. But because it has progressed to literally trying to sneak a surgery in without her consent, I think I'm I'm like, you have to break up.
It's
Like, you
very
should
extreme.
break up. Yeah. Update. First off, I just want to thank everyone for their support and validation of what I was feeling. I was second guessing myself and feeling like I was overreacting, but after more reflection and what happened later on the evening, I feel vindicated in my anger. I got home and he nonchalantly asked me how my appointment went. I managed to stay calm and told him how angry I was that he tried to arrange for the mole to be removed without my consent and knowledge, especially because I found out that he was informed while booking the appointment that it would involve anesthetic and stitches. He said that he wasn't sorry because he thought he was doing me a favor by forcing me to bite the bullet and get it done.
Whoa.
Monster.
Break up twice. Break up, get back together immediately, and then break up with him again.
He said the only thing that he was sorry about was signing my name on the waiver because he knows he should not have done that. Record scratch. At my appointment, my waxer had said something along the lines of, but you signed the waiver, when I was blindsided by her prepping for the mole removal. She was confused that I was not aware of the mole removal plan. I had assumed she was talking about the waiver I had signed just a few weeks ago, that I have to sign every year for my services performed at the med spa. I was in a hurry to get out of there, so I didn't press further, just made it clear that I did not want a mole removal and gathered my clothes and left. As it turns out, she was not talking about the annual general waiver. When my boyfriend booked the appointment, a waiver was emailed over, which he signed as me and sent back to them. We are in a South American country where plastic surgery is extremely common. I am the only woman in my office without breast implants. I was born in America and haven't quite subscribed to this aspect of the culture, so things are a lot more lax here than I imagine they are in the US. So not only did he schedule and pay for plastic surgery on my private area, he forged my signature on a legal document giving permission for it to be done. There is no coming back from this, and I told him so. He started crying, oh boo-hoo, and saying that he just wanted me to be the most beautiful I could be. F you!
Oh my God, that's...
Black hole! Black hole! You suck, dude.
How do you say that?
How does it come out of his mouth? And he's like, yeah, that's totally fine. Thankfully, I was too angry to cry in front of him, and I just told him to leave. He packed some clothes, and I put the rest of his belongings in a detached garage that he has a key to. I made him leave his house keys and told him that the garage locks would be changed by the end of the week. I own the house, thank God, and I'm changing the locks on the door this evening, except for the garage. I'm giving him the week to clear out the rest of his things from there. I haven't blocked on social media and feel very refreshed, like a weight has been lifted, and a weight would be lifted from you if you join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And there is a little bit more, but like so obviously a breakup, and you did it, so good. Just moral of the story before we fully finish it, don't comment on your partner's body. Just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. Certainly not in that kind of way.
Yeah. Like there is a difference between saying like you could maybe get away with saying something along the lines of like, oh my God, I noticed that you have a lump and maybe it's cancerous. You should go get it checked out.
Well, yeah. If you do care to the extent where it's going to drive you to the point of forging documents and signing her up for plastic surgery, you need to leave her because you have weird priorities and you can't just force that onto somebody else.
Yeah, no. Like at multiple times in my life, I've had a person comment about something like about my body. It made me very insecure about it. I'm like, just shut up. Like, don't say that.
Hush now.
Please, why are we bringing it up? I'm sure I will be hurting later and missing him, but this showed me a side of him that I absolutely cannot live with. I may not be as tan or as smooth or as busty as all the women around here, but I deserve better. I know that much. And now my mole and I are going to settle down with a bottle of wine and download Tinder.
Oh no!
Thank you again for everything.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's sometimes you gotta go through it and then you're like, okay, now I'm done. You just get it out.
Honestly, there's two different Tinders. There's Tinder for women and there's Tinder for men. Tinder for women is an extremely different experience than Tinder for men. But either way, I don't support either of them. They're bad for everyone's brains.
I don't like them, but you know, it works for some people.
I mean, it can, depending on...
Some people are surprisingly successful.
It works for hot people. Actually, I just went through like an entire... So do not come at me for saying that because my sources have sources.
I've got sources.
Tinder is a fundamentally different experience. You can even take out whether it's between men or women. It's between whether you're super hot or not. It's like, I think it's something something like 3% of Tinder profiles take 95% of all of likes.
I think my experience on dating apps is mostly that I just get really bored really quickly. Like, I think it's like an ADHD thing of just being like, okay, can't interact with people.
I think the most that you should have in terms of conversation on the app should be like, hey, you look cool. Yeah, so do you. Hey, do you want to meet here and like hang out or like get a coffee or do this? Yeah, sure. Done.
See,
now you're talking in real life.
I think it makes sense, but also as a woman, I need to suss out their vibes first.
Well, that's why you need to learn martial arts.
Yeah. But also this is why I don't use the dating apps for me, because I don't think they work for me, but I know they work for other people.
And also, this is the end of this story.
Am I the a-hole for not enjoying my boyfriend's surprise to me while sick? Kind of a surprise.
I'm sick.
I didn't enjoy that. So, Lunar Looney 1 says, trigger warning, stalker-ish behavior. The past couple weeks, I've been extremely sick and haven't felt like leaving the house or doing anything. This sucks for me because nobody likes to be sick, but I am a busybody and being bedridden is awful. I hate being bedridden.
I feel you there.
I also haven't seen my female 19 boyfriend, male 20, in a while, and he keeps asking me when I will see him. And I tell him I want to wait until I'm at least not running fevers because I wouldn't want to pass anything on to him, especially because he has little siblings and a baby sister, and I would feel awful if I got them sick. Yeah, that's fair. If you have a fever, definitely don't, go around seeing people. He's very persistent though and keeps saying how much he misses me and he wants to see me. He texts me multiple times a day asking to come over, and I keep telling him not to yet, especially because my fevers are up in the 104 range. Oh my God, that's like hospital.
Interesting.
Yikes. Yeah, don't go over there. That's a bad fever.
But like, dang, I would be the type of boyfriend that's like, please let me feed you soup and give you a burrito blanket.
But also, if your partner's like, please, I don't want you to come over. You leave the soup
outside. But I'd still be like, let me feed you. I'm going to feed you.
Okay.
I would, dang, as much as I would be OP's boyfriend. Yeah. I know that sounds bad. I don't know. But the type of person I'm with, hopefully they're okay with it.
Yeah, but this is OP, and OP's different. OP doesn't want that. I honestly would be like, can someone take care of me when I'm sick? I would like someone to come bring me soup. But OP doesn't want that right now because they have a fever and they don't want them getting sick. This is a boundary. Yesterday, both of my parents were at work, so it was just me at home. I've been in and out of sleep because I've been sick, so I was asleep most of the day yesterday. Mind you, my boyfriend works Monday through Friday, so in no way did I expect this. Around 2 p.m., I'm woken up to someone rubbing my back. Before opening my eyes, I think it's my father home on his lunch. Nope, it's my boyfriend.
Ooh.
I would be kind of really weirded out that he just showed up while I was sleeping.
I'd be okay with it. I'd be like, how'd you get in here?
I don't know. I would be like, how did you get in here? I asked you not to come here.
If my girlfriend just showed up, I'd have to like her though. But that's why she's my girlfriend. I wouldn't mind it. I'd be like, that's kind of crazy you're here.
I don't know. I would be weirded out. No, specifically, I'm imagining the scenario. I told them not to come, that I didn't feel well. I didn't want them there. And then they showed up unannounced and are rubbing my back while I'm asleep. That's weird.
That is weird.
He says he couldn't stand being apart and wanted to surprise me. I then asked how he even got in because my parents always lock the door before leaving.
Remember, you left your back door unlocked.
Yeah, I broke it open. And he says he guessed the garage combination because it's the same digits as my phone password, which is what my family uses as a common password.
Wait, actually.
Yeah, you were on his side. This is weird. This is weird.
This is whack, bro. You need to stop.
You need to oh my God.
Oh gosh.
I'm a bit taken aback and I tell him it wasn't cool to show up uninvited. He told me it seemed like I was ignoring him. She was sick. She was asleep and sick.
Wait, but kind of, I'm just picking. I'm already digging myself in a hole.
And he wanted to come see what's up. We went back.
See what's up?
She has a fever.
What's going on? How's it going?
My God, he broke into their house to see what's up.
What's been going on around here, guys?
What's going on? You've been sleeping, ignoring me?
Oh
my God.
Goodness.
We went back and forth about it for a while, me keeping my point of it's rude to show up uninvited, and he just tells me I should be grateful to see him and I needed to stop whining. Jesus. And after a while, he left, mostly because I made a point to say my parents don't know you're here and wouldn't be happy with me having you over here without their permission, since yesterday He has not talked to me. Am I the a-hole?
No, bro's the a-hole.
No, your boyfriend is the a-hole. I hope he's your ex. OP then says, thank you for all the feedback. I'm trying to read everything, but there's a new comment every time I refresh.
Nice.
I will give an update once I talk to him. I just don't know how I want to approach this yet. A lot of you are worried about my fever. Yeah, I know. I was like 104. Yeah. Sorry for the exaggeration. I have just been sick for a couple weeks, but my fever just started this week. I have not had high fevers for weeks. Haha, no. Started with just congestion and sore throat and recently just turned into a cough and fever. And yes, I have been to the doctor. Good.
Ooh.
Yeah, break up with your boyfriend.
Yeah, hey.
That's weird.
I don't know why
dump him.
I don't know why I have not been pointing on my hat more.
Dump him.
Yikes. That's not cool.
Red flag. Big red flag.
Yeah, they're sick. That you could get yourself sick. And I know you miss her, but please do not
respect
guess
your boundaries.
The code on her.
Also, I think
door.
if I was feeling that bad, like I'm just trying to imagine it from OP's, like feeling that bad, I'm sleeping all day. There are also situations where you maybe just don't want your partner around. Even if you're like, I want to rest. I don't want to have to entertain, Yeah,
because he's 20.
He's 20.
Low-key, my partner, I want them to be like kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And like, I'm okay with like seeing them, but like.
Yeah, I don't want them to be like needy.
Yeah, super needy, which needy's cute.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah, until one day it's like, oh.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, you never hang out with me, but you're hanging out with them like every day.
Yeah, then it's like, okay. All right, pal.
The boyfriend's making the whole OP being sick about them and about OP being sick. Like, we don't even, like, he's not bringing freaking soup to her. He's just like, I want to hang out with me.
Yeah, not cool, bro. Not cool. Leave the soup outside. But you know what we're going to leave for you guys?
Another story. Yeah. Warning for this next story. It does talk about abuse and there are anger issues taken to extreme measures. So if that is something that you do not feel like you can watch, my 31 female fiance, 39 male snapped. And I'm unsure if I'm overreacting.
How did they overreact?
I think OP's fiance snapped like a Kit Kat.
Ooh.
So Maleficent 8942 says, my fiance and I have been together 3 years and living together too. He's definitely a hothead. It's been a problem in the past, but he's a wonderful partner otherwise. He cooks, I clean, we both work, and we're best friends. Besties.
Aw, I love it when couples are besties.
Yeah, it's fun. We spend all our spare time together going on road trips, trying new friends, or just hanging out.
Wait, what?
What?
Trying new friends?
Sorry, trying new foods.
What does that mean?
Trying new foods. They're just trying them out,
How do you try new friends?
He has in the past lost it over small things. Oh my God, he has anger issues. Followed someone home twice over driving and he yelled at them. He's an angry driver in general. He thinks no one can drive and is often speeding through traffic. Followed someone home?
Yeah, no, no. You can't be around that. No.
That's a giant red flag. Leave this man. Oh my God, leave him. Yikes, I'm scared. His angry driving is an everyday occurrence. I let him drive because it's not worth the stress if I drive because he doesn't like it. Oh my God. That's such a red flag.
Crazy.
If he can't control his anger when he's driving, why would you want someone that angry behind the wheel? He punched a hole in a closet door after a stressful day at work when I sarcastically replied to his mood.
I feel like some people that have anger issues.
Honestly, if you're punching holes in walls, go to therapy.
To jail.
What?
To jail.
To jail?
To jail.
To jail. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
I didn't know what you were saying. To jail. This is crazy. I've heard stories where like people are like, yeah, my partner punched a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
You what?
Dang, I have a friend that punched holes in the walls, and now I'm thinking back.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What? I've never wanted to punch a hole in a wall. Go punch a pillow.
I have an okay story time of how angry I got one time. I don't even want to know what I look like angry.
I think men in general need to be very aware of their anger.
Yes.
Especially around women.
Oh, 100%.
He immediately apologized when he calmed down the next day. Wait, that's not immediately apologizing. That's apologizing the day later.
Yeah.
That's not immediately apologizing.
Like low key, it looks like he has an anger issues and like this is the best way he can cope with it.
That's not coping with it though.
Or, like,
that's just
handling
succumbing to it.
This is his only way of handling it. And I feel like without therapy, this is the healthiest way he believes he can do it.
I disagree. I think he's not handling it at all. These are red flags that will lead to maybe worse things for OP.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I think I think that you have to keep an eye out for anger like this. This is dangerous.
Yeah, this is pretty dangerous.
OP says, but it scared me at the time. If you are scaring your partner, that's bad. This was a year ago. His temper is an everyday thing, but it's never directed at me. Yeah, but this is like, currently it's never directed at you, but I'm very worried about like, one day he gets so angry that he does direct it at you. And also, even if he's not punching or throwing something at you, punching a wall, that's emotional abuse. That's verbal abuse. To like get that angry in front of your partner. Sorry, I have a lot of feelings about this. He also used to tell me to pack my things and F off if we were arguing. I'm definitely a calm, let's talk this out person. He's an I don't want to talk about it person. He often feels attacked and it's something we had to work through. He's much better now. He tried anger management, but said it wasn't working with his work schedule. Make it work. It's like, this is making me so angry. I don't care. Make it work.
It was at 3 p.m. and I get off at 4.
Jesus, make it work. Or you're going to get court mandated anger management therapy.
So it seems like he's kind of working on it.
It seems like he tried to work on it and then got annoyed with it and stopped working on it, which also isn't great. His communication is much better. Apart from that, he's an affectionate goofball who treats me like a queen.
Okay.
He would do anything for me. I just have to ask. It's like a different person takes over.
Okay.
He's not a different person, though. That's him.
I understand where you're coming from. I do not agree with this anger whatsoever. I believe it. I do not want to be around people that are angry like this, but it seems like he's nice to her. He's affectionate to her, but he just has an anger management problem. And his way of coping with it is like distancing himself and doing these things. I believe he should go to therapy and anger management. And it's wrong that he's not pursuing that. It seems like he's trying to work on it, but he does need to do more work on the anger management side.
I gotta say, I disagree. I think that it doesn't seem like he is distancing himself because a lot of this anger is happening in front of his partner.
Gotcha.
Which is, I think it's still a form of abuse, even if it's not physical abuse directed at her. I think it's still verbal abuse, especially because we know that he's telling her to F off and get out of leave.
Gotcha.
Which is also like abuse. I also think it is a thing that abusers do a lot to keep their partner around, where they will treat them like they will love bomb them. And they're like, oh, you're amazing. I love you. I'm sorry. I would never say that. And then, next day they're screaming at them and like punching walls. So I think that's a very common thing.
Okay.
In abusive
Let's
relationships.
say someone does have anger management like this.
Yeah.
And they step out of the room and they say, if they are mad, they do like take a walk or something.
Yeah. Those are
fine?
healthy. Yes.
Okay.
If he was to be like, I am so mad, I need to leave the room. I cannot talk to you.
Gotcha. And then goes somewhere else and punches walls.
Absolutely,
but
sure.
But he should not be doing this in front of her.
I mean, if he was doing that, I still think he should go and like talk to a therapist. Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
But the fact that he is doing it in front of her is abusive.
Gotcha. Okay, because I was just curious, if someone has anger like this and they cannot hold it in, how should they express it respectfully or like in the best way that they can?
I think, again, go to therapy, go to anger management class.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, yes, you should be
not in the same presence as them.
Do not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I just want to be on the same page with that.
Yeah. Because I think it is abusive to do this stuff in front of your partner.
I see. Get a wood stove.
Get a wood stove
because you have to chop wood. You have to get a devil.
You need to find somewhere to like get your anger out that's healthy.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. Go freaking chop wood. CrossFit. Go to the gym when you're angry. I don't care. Find something that maybe you go to like one of those places where you can break stuff.
That's good too.
Like have a healthy outlet because this is not a healthy outlet. This is only damaging your relationship with your partner and making your partner scared for you and damaging the walls in your home.
Yeah.
On to the incident. Oh no, there's an incident? OP says, we were going on holiday this week, 12-hour road trip, and we decided to leave at 3 a.m. He said he didn't really sleep well and I annoyed him because I wasn't ready quick enough. I forgot some things and I admit that I took too long and we left late. We stopped an hour later to grab a quick service station meat pie. I don't really remember the conversation leading up to this. I don't even know if we were arguing. All I know is his meat pie leaked on his shirt. He swore and ripped his shirt down the middle like the Hulk and threw it out the window.
What?
Oh my God, this man is crazy. He proceeded to speed and had the angriest look on his face.
Because the meat pie.
Oh my God. Also, I feel like this might be in like the UK or Australia because meat pies.
Meat pies.
Meat pies are an American thing, right? I've never seen them.
I've never seen someone drive and eat a meat pie in my life.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a meat pie is.
It's also a UK thing, but Australia's better based off no context because I stopped eating meat before I went to the UK.
No.
So I've only eaten meat.
Know.
But I do know Australia's meat pies and they're great, but it's basically a pie filled with meat.
I'm not for that.
It's so good.
I don't know about that.
No. It's a pie filled with meat and you have tomato sauce and it's so good.
It sounds like meatloaf.
No, it's not like meatloaf.
Yes, it sounds like meatloaf.
No. It's not like meatloaf. It's so much better. And I don't know how to accurately portray this, but Australians get in the comments because you know what I'm talking about. They're good. I can't eat them anymore, which is tragic. Yeah, but they're delicious.
Loki sounds like liver mush too. People from the south.
No.
Let me know what you think.
It's good. It's good.
They just put a bunch of meat together.
No, like meat pies.
Give it to people.
I would go to Australia when I was younger. Like every time I showed up, my nana would bring me meat pies from the store, which they were just like the frozen ones, but I've always had like homemade. They're good too. Oh my gosh, you heat them up. I put some tomato sauce, and you're just it's so good. Anywho. That was my tangent about meat pies. Let's get back to this horrible story.
She's a pescatarian now.
Yeah, I can't eat this.
She's moved on.
I was scared. It was a dark back road and I could see he was doing 140 kilometers. I told him I was scared and to stop and he ignored me. I told him to please calm down and stop. Suddenly, he slammed on the brakes. All of our things in the back flew forward. He turned to look at me and said, "There," before taking off again, only faster, doing 160 kilometers.
Yeah.
This is abusive.
Yeah.
Oh. I sat there terrified to speak up again and that we would hit something. He stopped not long after and told me to drive because he was going to sleep. He woke up 2 hours later and didn't say anything about it. It was an hour or so after he woke up. He said, "Sorry about before. I was really tired." That is not an excuse. I'm in shock. He doesn't seem to think it was a huge deal. It's been 2 days and we've just moved on from it. He said nothing happened and he knows how to control a vehicle. And why would he put himself in danger?
Before this conversation that we had about the love bombing, I would say, oh, he's in the right. He doesn't know how to control his anger. And he said sorry. But now, since learning about the love bombing, that's horrible. So it's just manipulating.
Absolutely manipulating. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for listening then.
I'm growing.
Yeah. No. Thank you for listening. That is great. Yeah. And I, of course, have never been in this situation. So if anyone out there in comments, I hope you also haven't been in that situation. But if you have, or if people know more about this, feel free to comment and, give your thoughts. If you notice in your partner that this is a pattern that is happening over and over and they're apologizing, these apologies mean nothing.
Yeah.
Because it keeps happening. An apology is a promise, I think, to do better. And it does not necessarily mean that you won't do it ever again, but it does mean that you should be trying to get better in the future.
Because over time, your sorries will mean nothing.
They mean nothing. I just need some advice. I'm starting to rethink this whole relationship based off this incident because I'm scared to tell my friends because they will hold judgments on him. Please tell your friends.
Yeah.
Update. I'm so completely overwhelmed by the response from this group. I never thought I'd receive so many helpful and worried comments. I have 4 more days of this trip, and since so many are telling me to be careful, I'm not going to do anything until I get home. You've all shown me it's time to tell my sister and brother what's going on. They live in the same city. Thank you again for all your help. I feel so rattled. I've never once thought it was abuse. I just thought he needed help and support.
Reddit.
Sometimes Reddit comes through.
They do.
And there are some relevant comments, but before we get into that, I think just to the point about feeling afraid or about talking to her friends because she doesn't want them to think badly of him. I think that happens a lot when you're in a relationship and you notice these red flags, but you only want to tell the great things to your friends. Tell your friends because they have an outside perspective. Yeah, tell your friends when you notice red flags because they're not blinded, I would say.
I've recently, a friend back home reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm thinking about ending it with a certain person because of certain attributes that they've
Yeah.
been showing me. And like, I kind of saw those things. I didn't really see them directly, but I got a bad vibe off the person. And I kind of feel bad for like not saying anything to them. They knew them longer, but she reached out to me because she felt like I was one of the closest people she can talk to about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just tricky.
I think it is definitely a tricky situation when you, as an outsider of the relationship, come forward and are like, I've noticed these things.
Yeah. Because being a guy saying that to a girl might get the wrong.
Yeah. No, I think that is a tricky situation. And only if you're seeing like really bad stuff.
Gotcha.
But if you're just on a vibe, it's hard to come forward. They might be very defensive. I think more of what I'm saying is when you're in a relationship and you're noticing those red flags, like, please talk to your friends. If you feel like you have good friends, you should definitely be bringing that up because your friends usually want to help and usually are able to kind of accurately judge a relationship because they're not in it and they're not blinded, as I said. That's what I have to say about that. But there are some relevant comments. Brilliant Persimmon 87 says, hug, 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 hug. I'm sorry that you're going through this. Deep down, you know that it's more than him being a hothead. He has displayed some intensely scary behaviors, along with an unwillingness, not inability, but unwillingness to process his emotions in a healthy way. It will not get better. It will start to become even more confusing as your brain struggles to comprehend how this nice and sweet man can be so violent at the same time. He apologizes to keep you from leaving. This is known behavior from an abuser. Yeah, which is what we said. Please listen to us. Please don't ignore what your brain and instincts are trying to tell you. Please don't let the fear of judgment hinder you from seeking help to get out of a dangerous situation. Talk to family, talk to friends, reach out to people. You need to get yourself to safety because if you stay with this man, he will endanger your life again. And OP responded, I'm sort of in shock with these comments. I never once called it abuse or even thought it. He just had a problem that needed to be worked through. My friends and family love him. I've never told them about this side. But now I'm starting to think I didn't tell them about his struggles because I knew what they say. Unsupported Device says, he is not a good partner or a good guy. He does not care about you, point blank, period. End of story. I need you to know that. I'm not trying to be harsh, but it's imperative you realize he does not care about you. He's willingly putting you in unsafe positions and doesn't even like or respect you enough to stop his bad behavior when you tell him you're scared. His ego is then so huge, he needs to embarrass you in some sort of gotcha moment when you call out his behavior. I wish you the best, honey, but run. This man is a loser who is also deeply bitter. Your life will be so much better, I promise. There is no award for suffering. I know you've invested time and yourself into this relationship, but put simply, this man isn't even kind to you. The bare minimum should be kindness. And there is a comment from OP, but yeah, no, I think that really sums up our thoughts. I'm finding it hard to reconcile that the man who cried when we were picking out our first dance song, who told me I'm the best woman he's ever met and that he feels so lucky that we met, the man who cuddles me on the couch and rubs my sore back at the end of the week is this abusive man too. His mother said he rages. Their incidents are worse than anything that he's ever done with me. His mother hugged me and cried when I got him to go to his anger management because she's been trying for years. His sister doesn't have a relationship with him, and since being with me, they have mended it and become closer again. She said I seem to make him a lot calmer. I'm starting to question why I never seriously questioned what he was like before me. I'm starting to wonder if the longer we are together, the more that side is appearing. I'm just absolutely devastated. And there is an update. Yeah, I mean, this is also a thing that abusers do. They will hide parts of themselves. And then once they think, their partner is more trapped in a relationship, those sides come out more.
Yikes, that makes me.
Yeah.
Not saying I am.
No.
am one, but I'm like, once I get settled into a relationship, what kind of attributes will I
think it's just about awareness. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have never seen you, lash out in anger or stuff. And I've seen guys lash out and get really angry over, video games, which I think is like, you have to be very aware of that because, that can shine through in other areas of your life.
True.
Yeah, I think when you enter a relationship and the longer it goes on, you have to be very aware of how you're talking to your partner because you can't get less respectful the longer the relationship goes on. You want to get more respectful and talk, communicate more.
This is true. Because there's the 3-month test
Mm-hmm.
for after you've known someone for 3 months.
Yeah.
If they did have a facade on the relationship,
that's when it
gone.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Absolutely.
I try to be real with people, but I'm like, what else do I have to be real more about?
How long have we been rooming together?
2.5. You got 2 more weeks.
I got 2 more weeks.
Whoa, actually.
Story time.
We have a story time.
We'll leave it at the end because it might uplift us after. Update. Thank you to everyone who commented on my previous post. It's been a while since my original post and a lot has happened. The end of the relationship was nothing short of a soap opera. I spent nights in bed next to him on our holiday reading Lundy Bancroft's book, and I was floored. Do we know what that book is? Is this about like relationships? Lundy Bancroft?
Oh, he's a consultant on domestic abuse.
But he's a writer on domestic abuse. And so that makes sense that, wow. Wait, so OP's reading this next to their partner.
That's ballsy.
All the comments were so eye-opening, even if I didn't want to believe it was that serious. So many things were hitting home. So many things I didn't consider abuse, but these were things I wasn't telling friends or family about. I was protecting him from anyone knowing what he was really like. A part of the book referenced cheating and abusers as one archetype that matched a lot of my partner's attributes. I thought I was crazy, but over a week after we got home from our holiday, he got home from work, we had dinner, and he went to shower, so I checked his phone. I repeated this for quite a few nights, gathering evidence. He's been cheating on me.
Whoa.
Oh, God.
Do you think that's why he didn't get enough sleep that one night?
I hope not. God. Lots of different women over the last 3 years, and currently one woman who knows all about me and likes to talk about how awful I am with him.
An instigator.
Ugh. A lot of things he thought he deleted that messenger archived. I eventually confronted him one of those nights when he was coming to bed, and he told me he was too tired to talk about it, that I invaded his privacy, and that they were friends. Before this goes further, if you are ever in a situation where you want to confront a partner, but you know that they are abusive, please do not do that alone.
Yeah.
Get someone you trust to bring them with you in that situation, because that is a very dangerous situation to put yourself in. I was so angry, I pushed it in terms of keeping the conversation going, not physically. He said he wanted to sleep, and I said if I wasn't getting any sleep, he wasn't either. He snapped, he punched a hole in the wall, he broke our dresser. Get out of there, please. It's destroyed. He went into the kitchen and smashed other things. It was terrifying. I was begging him to stop. He then said I was lucky something of his wasn't broken. I got my things and snuck to my car and went to a friend's. He called me and said not to bother coming home. I wasn't. Why would I? The next day, he said it was all my fault because I wouldn't let him walk away, that I was a moron and ruined everything, that I should have let him sleep and waited until the morning. I called my brothers and said I needed to get my things. I decided it wasn't a good idea for them to come yet because I think they would have escalated the situation as they were angry too.
That's good to kind of cool it
I'm
off.
glad. Yeah, absolutely. I took my sister and friend and had them wait in the car until I was sure I was safe. He wasn't meant to be home, but was. They said I had 5 minutes until they were coming in. I told him I'd come to get my things. He got emotional and said he never wanted me to see that side of him. But he shows it all the time.
Dude, that's literally you, bro.
That's just you. It's not that side of you. That's just you. I said we were done, and he got angry again and chased me into the garage, throwing pillows at me. He said I would regret not fighting for this, and I asked him what I was fighting for because this wasn't how you treat someone you love. He collapsed into a crying mess and said he loved me too much and needed me, that he'd been an idiot and ruined it all.
Love bombing.
Yes, absolutely. This is manipulation. He said I could take what I wanted, that he would speak to me tomorrow when we both slept. He got upset when my friend and sister came inside because he didn't know they knew. I took the opportunity to get clothes, and my brothers returned for my things 2 days after. He sobbed on the phone to me to reconsider that he wasn't getting attention from me and did the wrong thing, that he's really stressed, and it all came to a head. He also told me that this would happen to me again, and the devil I knew was better than any other. Oh my God, he's so manipulative. He was begging me to come home. I cut contact. Thank God. Thank God. 3 weeks later, he's posting pictures with one of the other women and in a relationship with her. I'm so scared for this other woman. I'm just floored by the turn of events. Thank you to everyone who commented. This man was an abuser, and writing here saved me. Please don't date angry men. Please realize if there's physical violence of any kind, they're capable of worse. The cheating was a bullet I didn't see coming. I never suspected him of that ever in the whole 3 years, and I'm extremely embarrassed of being replaced so easily and being fooled so easily. I'm living with my brother, my self-esteem is in the toilet, and I guess I'm starting my life over again. Relevant comments. Remember Towel-A-Day 525 says, welcome to a new life. Wipe the slate clean, but keep the lessons learned. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. It took me 10 years. You did it in 3. OP says, very close to 4. To be honest, it's still very hard to let go. I was so trauma bonded to him. It's still a work in progress. DeMilo says, I'm so glad you're okay. So many women don't make it out. I'm so glad you did and have a supportive network. To the next chapter. Opie says, I can understand why. The main reason was that I told someone. It sounds silly, but after telling my friend, I couldn't take it back. Seeing her horror and worry spurred me on. Also, the idea of her disappointment if I went back. The bond was so strong. I still miss the good parts, but I know he's not a good man and I have completely ghosted him. That is great to hear.
Sorry that I picked a story like this, guys, but hopefully it was learning. I learned a lot. I learned about love bombing.
Yes. Yeah, we're learning things. I think for anyone out there, I hope you don't recognize yourself in the story, but
yeah, if you do,
yes, please, any sort of reactions that are this aggressive, that is a red flag. And if your partner is screaming at you and then the next day is telling you that they love you, that is also not okay. But to slightly lighten the mood, you had a okay story.
I was going to say the most angry thing I did.
Okay. To not lighten the mood yet.
Yeah. Okay. The most angry thing I've done is I broke a desk in my room. Not really broke it, apparently, but it was like after my breakup and I was like, and then I was like, just like boom, boom, boom. And then it like kind of broke, but I didn't do it all the way. But then I felt better after that. But like, that's the most like,
okay.
Other than that,
I'll give you one pass. Yeah.
But I wouldn't do that here. I wouldn't break my desk.
Don't break your desk.
But Drew has a punching bag, so we'll just go punch it.
Yeah. There are things that you can go punch that are meant to be punched out there if you guys have anger.
But the okay story time though, uplifted.
Uplifting.
So my friends are here from Tennessee. My girlfriends are here, and one of them said, "We're gonna go to the beach. Love you." And I said, "Love you too." And I was like, Sophia, when are we gonna get at that point where she's like, "I'm gonna go to San Diego." I'm like, "Love you. Be safe."
Yeah.
And she directly then looked into her calendar and said, "How does March 17th sound?" I said, "St. Patty's Day, huh?" She said, 2 p.m. I said, "Great."
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, we set a time. Because
it'd be weird if we did it before that.
It would be weird. It would be
like,
weird.
we just
yeah.
Not been 3 months, but it will be 3 months then.
And so this is connecting to the 3-month rule of like you don't know the person until 3 months. And so this will literally be 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that subconsciously.
Yep. Because wow. Because I like saying bye to the homies before they go.
I say love you to all my friends. So
No,
so
but we're almost there.
We're almost there.
We're so close.
My boyfriend got upset I didn't make him a plate. I'm so sick of his childish attitude.
Yeah, but I'm hungry. Where's my food?
I'm a hungry boy. I'm not man. I'm baby. Baby.
This is literally what I deal with all day.
God.
Do you understand how hard it is to maintain these two?
Feed me.
All it takes is one plate.
So, my 34 male boyfriend is upset with me, 32 female, because I didn't make his plate and serve it to him during Christmas. Where do I go from here? Our 5-year anniversary is a couple weeks from now, and we have a 2-year-old. I didn't know anything was wrong until we started the 5-hour drive home after spending the holidays with the family. By the way, this comes from Goblin Cock.
Damn.
And if you want to submit your story like Mr. Goblin, go to r/showcase storytime and send them in.
Yeah,
We
we're the
love to see
goblin.
it.
Hey, again, this is the goblin street.
So he was pretty much quiet the whole way and snapped at me when I asked why he was following too closely behind a vehicle and also driving too fast. As soon as we got home, he leaves without a word for a couple of hours, gets back and says he went to the mall to buy a couple more gifts and shoes for himself. I'm annoyed because I've been telling him for weeks to pick out shoes and I will buy them for his upcoming birthday. He's really hard to shop for and picky about his clothes, so I asked him why he bought himself those shoes when I wanted to buy him some as a gift. He says in a rude tone, "Send me $100 then, because that's how much they were." I finally asked him what his problem was, and he was upset that I didn't make him a plate. I spent over 4 hours cooking for my whole family and also cooked for Christmas Eve the day before. I was tired. The holidays are exhausting. I couldn't believe he was upset about that. He seemed annoyed on Boxing Day, day after Christmas, because we ordered pizza and I made a plate for my stepfather who uses a cane. I told him to make himself a plate and he just sat there.
Dude, how can you be in your 30s acting like this? Like, this is...
God.
This is absurd.
He also said, I barely looked at him during our visit, and if I did, I didn't smile or look at him lovingly. Like I said, I was tired. My 2-year-old was also extra clingy, so I felt overstimulated and was just trying to be present with my family. Lastly, he was mad because I didn't go sledding with him and my family, the final nail in the coffin. I stayed back with my sister and baby niece, and we watched a rom-com. Unacceptable. Jail. I wanted to relax and have some me time, and he was upset about that, saying I just wanted to go on my phone, which I did. I got to watch TikToks and just scroll for a bit. Anyways, after we got home and had this conversation, I left upset and went to have dinner by myself while he took our child for a walk. As soon as I got home, he left again and didn't come back for 4 hours.
Whoa.
We have barely spoken, and I don't want to be the one to sit down and start this conversation to coddle him and make him feel better. I'm so sick of this. Where do I go from here? And we have some comments from Chicken Scratch Coffee coming up, but just real quick, Dakota,
Okay.
it started off as a plate, but this became now more than we can chew.
Guys, really quick, I have to now defend myself because I was joking. I mean, yes, sledding is fun. She cooked all day and just wanted to chill. It's
Dude.
fine. I'm being facetious.
Dude. Comments from Chicken Scratch Coffee. Why are you allowing this toxic relationship to continue? He's a grown adult. He can get his own plate. Opie says, it's my first long-term relationship, my first love. I asked myself this question as well. Low self-esteem, perhaps, but I've just started therapy again, so I'm hoping things will get better for my mental health. Lady Klepsadra says, sounds like you are a servant to him, not a partner. Considering his age, this most likely comes from deeply rooted misogyny and won't change. Watch out for isolation attempts. The way he didn't like you taking some me time with your family, but wanted you to be with him and his family instead doesn't bode well. Do not prioritize his family over yours is my advice. You don't want to end up isolated from your closest people with a controlling sexist man, and it seems like you may end up exactly there. Lazy B94 says, this. Be careful, OP. His behavior is so outrageous, it shouldn't be acceptable. He was angry that you weren't at his beck and call at all times as the woman, and this only gets worse. Please dump his A. You will do so much better without him. She says, you're right. He has trauma from his mother, and I feel like he hates me sometimes when all I do is work, cook for my family, take care of our child, paying for daycare, and doing drop-offs and pickups and stay home. He always finds something to be mad about with me. If he isn't being jealous, then he's mad that I don't clean enough or want some alone time. And the judgment on OP was not the a-hole.
Go figure.
So we have this update. It might be our final update, but we got half the story left. What do we all know that OP should leave? Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard though because this is like a first love type scenario.
And the
so
kid,
it's like,
it'll be tough, but hey,
gonna
we've
be-
seen tougher. How do you suggest OP leaves?
Make him a plate of food and drop it in front of him.
Oh, and then he's eating. He's like, what's this? Unfolds it. Divorce papers.
Do they have a kid together?
Yes, 2-year-old.
Okay. Kid
They got a
together,
baby.
you got to try to go to therapy first, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing like here that's like so terrible that it's like, oh, like leave immediately. It's just like, this is clearly not something that you'd want to establish a long-term serious relationship with if this behavior was there earlier in the relationship. But now you guys have a kid, it's like, you got to try to figure out at least how to like I feel like there's just no communication here at all.
I just remembered a very sad, tragic tale.
Oh, what is it?
I remember when a young Samuel Donner, he wanted to join the cool kids, but instead of labeling you as one of the cool kids,
They called me Salad Boy because I ate nothing but salads. Could not trade my lunch for a lunch. Really anything.
You know what community will always welcome you with open arms, Sam?
And make you feel like a cool kid?
The great people who have OK Storytime memberships.
Oh, I heard that 60 plus hours of members only content Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
You heard right, Sam, and it's only $5 a month.
So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join. Now back to the story.
Chomp, chomp.
Like an absolute dumb butt, I stayed. I cried my eyes out and told him how I felt, and he didn't have anything to say. Just that he's sorry and he will do better. We were okay for a week. Today is our 5-year anniversary. Well, it would have been. He broke up with me today.
Oh.
I had to stay home all week with our child because of a parasite, and I'm waiting on tests. Oh my God. Jeez. Bad week for OP.
Parasite test?
Apparently, on Thursday, I got sick, and I'm still sick with what feels like a chest cold / infection. The morning of our anniversary, he goes rock climbing. I don't know what time he left, but he was gone until noon. I was pissed, and I texted him that would have been nice to have help while I rested. I canceled the reservations. I made it to the restaurant that we met at. When I told him this, he ripped up the card he got me, told me he's going to stay elsewhere, and we're done.
Oh.
Bro couldn't even.
Oh, no.
Bro couldn't even.
Oh, God. This guy's so much worse than I thought he was going to be.
He said, I am miserable and just want to be sad and that I make him pay with all the ways my dad failed me. My father could care less about me and I do have daddy issues, lol. By the way, if you have daddy issues, I'm not saying I can solve it, but what I am saying is we have thousands of hours of cataloged content that are of stories that might be of service to you. That's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. You search OK Storytime, and you got all the episodes where full episodes.
It's
the stories
true.
just like this. But Big Daddy D,
Oh yeah.
I gotta talk to you, my friend.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we've got the divorce. We actually have a good bit of the story left. Where do we go from here?
Up, I guess. Like, you can't really. This was bad, right?
Yep,
okay. I did see some comments that were like, maybe it's even worse for the kids if they stay together, which, like,
Yes.
after this reaction, I'm like, yeah, maybe this guy shouldn't be raising anybody, I don't think.
Well, like,
Because he does
Yeah.
sound like, people were like, oh, he's
Ideally,
like a
yeah.
narcissist and like all this. And I was like, is he though? And it's like the way that he just broke up with OP because he could probably sense that was going to come from her side.
yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that's true.
I don't think I'm being unreasonable for expecting him to spend the whole day or coming back early from climbing. I didn't even get a good morning, happy anniversary text, but it is what it is. Anyways, y'all were right. I knew it in my heart, but didn't want to believe it. There's no coming back from this, but I'm okay? Question mark. Thank you for letting me vent and for all your advice. It's nice to come back and read all the positive support. Speaking of which, a comment from MB Minx who says, just hold your head high and move forward. When he changes his mind, hold firm. Talk to a lawyer about child support, etc., etc. You can do this. You've seen how he is now. You don't let yourself unsee it. I believe in you and you deserve all good things. Gidget to Giffa says he sounds like a man-child. Now he's gone. I almost guarantee you'll start thriving. That, which very quickly, I do think that is another point. Like you said earlier, there's only up from here. And I think OP will actually realize that this like dark cloud is going to be lifted from her. And now she can like live her life without like she's probably constantly worried about like, oh, he's gonna be mad at me for something.
Yeah.
And now
And it was like the first love. Sometimes love is blinding.
it's tough, man.
And it's rough.
It's tough. It's a whole show. With him not around, putting you down, draining your energy and self-esteem, you'll start noticing a difference. OP says, thank you. Just got to get over the sad part. I was the best version of myself when I met him. I've lost myself in this relationship, but I feel ready to move forward. Beneficial Knee 6797 says, he's right on one thing, and that has to do with your disappointment with your father. If we have a neglectful or abusive father, we tend to see those wonderful things about a new man as familiar. The things that give us happiness and childhood, but in reality, it is our little child heart yearning for the attention and possibly the love and protection of our father. The promise is empty, and in the fact that the new guy is enamored with you based on the same criteria. If you had known this about each other and still wanted to go ahead, you could have gone to couples counseling. I hope you will get some therapy for codependency before you get into another relationship, because if you don't, your little boy will continue to suffer. If you still have unresolved issues with your father, now is probably the best time for you to work through those things. If the problems with your dad is related things, you would want to find the best and strongest support at Al-Anon, which is a family program connected to AA, Booziacs Anonymous, which is all free and the best treatment you can get. To read Codependent No More and Getting the Life You Want. OP responds to that. My father chose a horrible woman as a stepmom for us. He had a new family and just doesn't care to be an active father or grandfather to his previous kids. I've told my ex how all I ever wanted for my dad was to try harder to be present in our lives, to be a positive male figure in my life, and I've said maybe my expectations of my ex were too high. So, which makes sense. It's like, all right, if I don't get the fatherly affirmation from dad, try to get it from husband, which could be not great.
Those are daddy issues.
And daddy issues. But all I asked for was care and consideration in the relationship and communication. And I'm going to go ahead and close out the story there. Final thoughts, Dakota.
Don't let the sunk cost fallacy keep you in a bad relationship like this for longer than you need to.
Yeah. Keep on trucking. And you know what? Blessing in disguise. And I think it's going to be up, like you said, up from here.
I'm breaking up with my boyfriend of 2 years because of a TikTok comment.
Well, it's a good thing TikTok's. Oh wait, never mind.
I feel so icky. We've been together since I was 16 and he was 17. My friend sent me a link to his TikTok of these two guys talking about how when one of them cheated on his girlfriend, she cheated on him after finding out instead of working to fix the relationship.
The good old eye for an eye. Yeah.
By the way, this comes from throwaway TikTok comment on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. The man in the video said it was his biggest heartbreak because while his meant nothing to him, she slept with one of his ex-friends who she said she had a crush on before they got together. The video said it's a woman's duty to be nurturing and forgiving in a relationship, and that women have to understand that certain men aren't monogamous. My friend sent it to me and said, I cannot believe how out of touch these men are. After watching the TikTok video, I decided to read the comments. The first one I see is my boyfriend tagging two mutual friends of ours and saying, women? ?
What?
One of our friends responded to the comment and said, females are so dramatic, and my boyfriend responded, agreeing to him. I feel sick. I thought we had the same views on things like this. He was raised by a single teen mom who worked 3 jobs to keep a roof over his head, food in his mouth, and allowed him to play soccer despite their tight budget and expensive little league fees. When we first started dating, I asked him who his role model was, and he said his mom. He went on and on about how strong and brave she is and how much he appreciates her after all she's done for him, and was single and living alone at 17 because my boyfriend's father cheated on her after she gave birth and was recovering because he can't be expected not to have spicy sleep for 8 weeks. Ugh. I am just upset. I'm at school right now typing this out in one of the bathroom stalls because I can't keep this to myself anymore. I'm disgusted with him. He texted me earlier this morning asking if we want to hang out after school, and I said yes. I'm going to break up with him and tell him why.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You have your reasonings.
And to add, he has commented under almost every post this account has made, agreeing with all of their misogynistic views. He thinks girlfriends/wives are property of the men they're with. Edit 2, I'm going to show up at his house and say we're done, LMAO, and leave. I'm going to tell him what I saw, and if there's no explanation for it, IDK what the heck kind of justification there is for the crap that he said, but we'll see. Then I'll break up with him. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt as much as I can. I don't know why some of y'all think I'm just gonna say we're done with no explanation or discussion. Mini update. Y'all, okay, short amount of time for my last comment. I made my last comment from my car and then started driving back home to hopefully try to get my crap together before he gets off work in 20 minutes. His mother called me while I was in the car. Literally, as I'm driving 2 minutes away from my house, she calls me and asks what sides I want her to make for Thanksgiving. She's a literal angel, WTF, and I tried to keep it together the best I could. I guess she could hear that I was upset, and she said in her mom voice, "What's wrong, beautiful?"
Aww.
And I started sobbing, like so bad I had to pull over at the entrance of my neighborhood, and I told her the bare minimum of what I'd seen, as much as I could through a crap ton of snot and tears. And she was just dead silent for like 20 seconds. And I swear my heart fell out of my butthole.
Why did you write that? You could just say my heart fell. Like,
there's only one hole for it to go out, Keon.
You can always throw up your heart.
Oh, she didn't want to go there. She said, honey, he's not at work right now. And I dang near passed. Get this, y'all. Her best friend owns a bunch of apartment complexes, like luxury, nice apartment, like 3.5K a month kind. This MFer is viewing an apartment to surprise me with when I graduate.
Uh-oh. That breakup don't seem so good now.
Oh, it's getting a little complicated.
Yeah, maybe we slow the brakes and just we talk about this.
His mom said her friend offered one of the apartments to my boyfriend for dirt cheap, and he's planning to get all the papers signed and surprise me with it on Valentine's Day, since the current tenant, the friend's oldest daughter, is moving out to a house with her wife and her lease ends February 1st. His mom's coming over to look at the screenshots I have, then she's taking me back to their house to confront him. She's literally the sweetest, you guys. She said she wanted to be in the house when I talked to him, just in case. Currently sitting right inside the front door of my house, taking the 8 minutes in between their house and mine to type this out. I am in shock. I'm just waiting for her to pull up and I'll update as soon as I can. I don't think that I'm sad anymore. Just pissed off and confused as hell. We got an update.
Yeah, I'm not sad anymore. I'm getting a brand new apartment.
Dude, she was like,
What?
this relationship's really not that serious. It's just 2 years, whatever, we'll break up. And then apartment, 3.5K
Yeah.
luxury? Okay, maybe we can work this out.
Oh my goodness.
We got an update.
So
We'll
yeah.
see what she says. First things first, I see a lot of people thinking the apartment changes things. It does not.
Yeah.
My wording was off and I apologize. When I said I wasn't sad anymore, I meant I no longer was grieving our relationship. I was angry at him. The apartment was never going to make me stay with him. Second, also about the apartment, it's 3.5K for a 1-bedroom. His mom said he was looking at a 3-bedroom. What would have been our room and then office for each of us? We would have been paying maybe $1,000 a month for what's usually 5.8K monthly apartment.
I take that deal.
I would be rethinking this relationship. If I heard that, I'd be like, yo, what? 3-bedroom apartment?
And I get my own office for 1K?
You know I'm gonna be live streaming out of that like crazy.
Well, for 1K? I want to be friends with your mom's friend. What the heck?
Me too. I only brought up Price because he graduated from high school last year. He's not in college. He works a good job though, and I'm still in high school. We spoke briefly about getting an apartment in that complex once we're on our feet financially. I should have included that in our previous post because while his mom's friend owns cheaper apartments, he was getting the one we both deemed our dream. Ooh, I don't know what to feel right now. I just can't make sense of anything at the moment. So this update might be messy and all over the place. Now on to the update, the talk. I got to his home and immediately showed him the screenshots.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but I got to tell you, I've been loving these pearls that I got in Colombia.
You are a delicious beaded man nowadays.
I do feel more confident at the very least, but I think these pearls pale in the amount of confidence an OK Storytime membership can get you.
That's right. You get 60 plus hours a month of exclusive live stream content. That's advice that'll make you the best version of yourself.
And it's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Crack open that oyster and get the blues. But let's get back to the story.
I asked him what the F they were about and told him I was disgusted with him. I could literally see the color drain from his face. Kind of shocking. He started talking really fast, and after like 45 seconds of rushed explanation, he just stopped. He stopped talking for a minute or two and just stared at the floor. This pissed me off so dang bad, so I got up to leave. He grabbed my hand and told me he could explain everything. He handed me his phone and told me to open his Discord and click on one specific server. Y'all, I just kind of stared at him like WTF. Anyways, he explains to me that one of the 2 guys he was tagging in these posts was a chauvinist, and him and a few other people were gathering evidence to send to the dude's girlfriend. I did not believe him at all. Then the MFer opens his laptop, pulls up one of those group Google Doc things, and it goes back like a month and a half. Him and some of his friends had noticed some weird behavior from the dude and decided to warn his girlfriend. The problem is, she's naive, and they thought she wouldn't believe him without evidence. Girl,
I don't know.
I don't believe it. I need to see this Google Doc.
I see this
wanna
Google Doc,
this.
but also the comments that he had, he was like, women are like agreed. Was he trying to like entrap his friend to do that?
So technically in that video, they were talking about how women should be forgiving. And I think he was baiting him like women, question mark, like asking him, like playing dumb, like women, what does he mean by that? And then the guy went into detail, like, women should, blah, 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 blah.
I don't, I mean, he has the evidence, but also if you think you guys are such deep partners, you would talk about it. Like
Yeah.
you would be like, okay.
Well, he probably has his reasons.
He
probably has his reasons.
Like you would get for 2 men with girlfriends, you would get a woman's perspective on things. Like if you're trying to help out another like woman,
Another
or like what's
gal,
like,
yeah.
okay, like, what's girl code, or like how would you go about this?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm still on my.
I mean, we got a lot. I
Yeah.
feel like he's gonna. I don't know. Okay.
It goes back a month and a half of evidence in like a Discord server. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. And guess what? He didn't have time to like, all right, guys, like make a Google Doc. It was just like, look at my phone. All right, you don't believe me? Here's my laptop. It was like immediate.
Yeah.
He did not have time to think it up and create something else.
No. So this is
Unless
truth.
if he's unless if he's like really elaborate and he's like, I have a backup plan just in
No,
case.
I think this is truth. The doc had links to every TikTok they'd all commented on. Screenshots of their comments and screenshots from the Discord of them deciding what TikTok to comment on and what to say. The comments he made on the Discord server, someone sent a screenshot of a private message from the guy, Dean. They were gathering evidence about basically saying he didn't trust my boyfriend because my boyfriend never said anything negative about me. So the other mutual, let's call him Lucas, he tagged in the videos, came up with the genius idea that my boyfriend should talk crap about me publicly and call me his B and his property to gain this dude's trust. Literally WTF.
What?
I told my boyfriend that even if this was a setup for this dude, what he said about me was unacceptable and downright effing disgusting. He agreed wholeheartedly and showed me the part of the other conversation where my boyfriend refused to say the things Lucas told him to, even after Lucas told boyfriend that Dean didn't trust him. My boyfriend's brilliant solution: give Lucas his TikTok password so Lucas could do it. I saw in the server that boyfriend did give Lucas his passwords, and Lucas sent a screenshot of the first comment right after he made it.
I'm so confused now.
I think here's what I think. I think Lucas wants to get with Dean's girlfriend, so Lucas is like, come on man, you're the one that has a girlfriend, like you gotta come over here and like gain this dude's trust.
Why are you friends with these people? This is where I'm like, just get away from these dudes.
These are high schoolers, bro. Who knows?
Yeah, they're like, oh, they just graduated high school, and that's very odd. And even if you were saying these things on the internet or having somebody else say these things on the internet, it's like I said earlier, it's gonna stay on the internet.
Yeah.
You can't, and it's a bad reputation that's already out there for the entire internet to see. If you were doing this, I would have let my partner at least like, hey, this is the plan.
Yeah.
We're going to trap this guy. You're going to be part of it. Terrible communication.
No communication at all. Yeah. It's weird.
This guy likes hiding things. Obviously. He's like, I'm going to hide this apartment.
I think it's a wake-up call. For the past week and a half, that's when the first comment about me was posted. Lucas had been in boyfriend's TikTok. At this point, boyfriend was in tears and told me he was so sorry and he would leave the Discord, block Lucas, and never talk to him again. He said he'd delete his TikTok and set up parental settings on his phone to ensure he doesn't download it again. I said no to everything except him leaving the Discord and not participating in the doc anymore. Telling him I know about the apartment and the aftermath. I basically just told him I know, and due to all this, I won't be moving in with him.
Whoa.
He was upset that the surprise was ruined for me, but he said he understands.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that he respects my wishes and wouldn't move forward with getting the apartment. He brought up couples therapy and said that he would go to individual therapy as well. He also offered to message Lucas and tell him off. In his notes app, there are like 3 paragraphs already written. Apparently, after one comment Lucas made about cheating on me with boyfriend, was trying to find a way to end whatever it was they were doing. I told him I would go to couples therapy if and only if he, 1, did individual therapy for a month or a bit more, weekly appointments, and when his therapist suggests I come in for a session, I will go. 2, messages Lucas in front of me, and 3, never pulls any crap like this again. I feel like still get the apartment because that's one hell of a deal.
Yeah.
But don't move in with him right away if you're not ready. And go to couples therapy. That's what I think.
It seems like OP wants to maintain the relationship if he abides by these rules. I mean, the fact that he immediately again was just like, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna get out of this right now. Therapy, couples therapy. But like I said, man, the things on the internet, they're out there for everyone to see, even though you didn't really say it and you had Lucas say it for you. Not okay. This is one of those, you're walking on like a tightrope kind of thing. See how it goes, and you just got to try. If you really want to put in the effort, which I think it seems like OP does want to do.
Yeah,
he's like OP is trying to give him, I guess, one more chance, but I don't know.
We'll see. I did say that maybe it's not best we be together in between now and how he feels as though he's had enough individual therapy to be ready for couples therapy. He got very emotional and said while he understands and respects what I want, he loves me and doesn't want us to end. He told me to take all the space I need, asked me not to count this as a breakup. He said he still wanted to be able to call himself my boyfriend. I'm pissed as F at him, but the way he phrased that, it was cute, LOL. I told him, okay, no breakup, but definitely a break. Ground rules for the break. He brought ground rules up first. He told me that they don't have to be for me, but he wants to show me that he's sorry and prove that he doesn't agree at all with what Lucas did. This was his solution. Give me rules to follow, and I will every day until I made this up to you. I don't know about that.
Now it's like an ultimatum, and ultimatums are not great.
Yeah. Number 1, no contact with Dean. 2, this is not Ross/Rachel situation. No dating, flirting, sleeping with anyone else.
They were on a break.
3, apologize to his dang mother.
Yep.
4, texting is okay, but not like we did before this. No texting multiple times an hour. No just talking, checking in, good morning, good night texts are okay. He came up with 1, 2, and 4. I told him to apologize to his mom for almost making her pop a blood vessel in the Dairy Queen parking lot.
That's good on you, OP.
Lucas. He texted Lucas in front of me, basically just copy and pasted the message he already planned on sending, and he added some things. The gist of it is, I can't believe I went along with this. I can't believe I let you say that crap about my girlfriend. Why the F do you even think of her that way? Don't ever talk to either of us again. Then he blocked him. He blocked Dean as well, not before calling him out and sending him the doc link to him and Dean's girlfriend. My request, LMAO, the Kraken, boyfriend's mom. They're talking right now. She's pissed. She was in the room next to the one we were in, so she heard most of what was said. He's showing her the screenshots of the Discord and the messages he sent Dean and Lucas. When we first got there, I had to convince her to let me talk to him first. She was going to beat his butt, LMAO. I saw some comments briefly about it being weird that she wanted to be in the house just in case, so let me explain. Boyfriend's father was abusive. That was the short story. The long story short is that he said a lot of the things that were in the screenshots, and when she would talk to him about it, he would abuse her. My boyfriend has never been violent with me or anyone. Mama Bear was just applying her past to the present situation because she didn't want me to go through what she did. By the way, you can join us on your favorite podcast platform. If you like to hear stories that are crazy just like this, just search up OK Storytime on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Check it out. Yeah, I think the mother was just being supportive, was being safe.
No, the mom wanted to be there because she can't believe what her son did to OP and how he's saying all of this stuff, especially what he's been through and what she's been through, especially when he's like, my biggest role model is my mom because she was a single mother and she raised me through hell and back, and she's like a super mom. So she wants to make sure that's hammered in as well of, one, what are you doing? Like, what do you believe in? So I think the mom was just being there to make sure everything, even if it wasn't for OP, which it was definitely, she was there for OP, it was there for her and her son's benefit. So, like she said, it's mama bearing. So
mama bearing for sure. Boyfriend said that he wanted me there for Thanksgiving. He said he'd be in his room the whole time so I could spend the holiday with his mom and her friends.
Oh, come on.
I said no. He should be able to spend the holiday with his family.
Good.
He asked me if I'd come for his mom. I said I'll think about it. I think that's everything. I don't know how I feel right now. I'm tired and overwhelmed. I'll be going to individual therapy as well. I'm waiting until boyfriend and his mom get done talking so she can take me home, and I'll probably sleep for 12 hours. Thank you for the support. Everything today happened so fast. My head is spinning. These past 5 hours felt like 50.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
My weight was insulted at a funeral. My boyfriend just let it happen.
That's a bad boyfriend.
Bad move. I, 23-year-old female, have been with my boyfriend, 26-year-old male, for 11 months dating and 6 months in a committed relationship. In context, we are in a small Latin American country, and his grandfather is/was a popular singer in our state.
Ooh.
It's national music, mostly heard during Christmas, but he was kind of a big deal in the 80s and 90s. And after work, my mom, 60-year-old female, and sister, 19-year-old female, went went to the funeral to be with him and his family. And by the way, this comes from you, Gweenak CRF on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So he went earlier with his friends who have been his friends since he was a kid. I was a bit uncomfortable because I didn't know people there. He was with his friends, but I wasn't there for me, but for him, and to be respectful to his parents and their grief. Once they started closing down, we started talking with his mom, 53-year-old female, and dad, 52-year-old male. His mom started to say, my sister has lost weight and she looks good. She's gorgeous and has always been. She's not obese, neither was in the past, just chubby because birth control pills. And then looks at me and asks me when I'm going to do the same.
Dang, what?
She's like, your sister looks great, lost some weight.
When are you gonna
When
do
are you
it?
gonna lose
When are
weight?
you gonna shut your mouth?
It's such a mean thing. My boyfriend is also a personal trainer, and he trains me and my sister, but she was telling him to be more serious with me. She's like, you're training the sister a little too much. You got your priorities wrong. Focus on your wife or your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Then my mom tells her his son is the one eating out every day, and he's the one taking us, me and my sis, to eat. So the mom against mom right now.
Mom v mom.
Mom v mom. I have always been chubby or obese, but I have been thinner before, and right now I'm overweight and I'm working out, eating better and all of that, but I'm pretty active and I've always been. It's just that I tend to eat whatever, and I don't have the best sleep schedule, so I maintain myself, but I don't get dinner.
That's okay.
His dad came and started mocking me, saying that I probably like burgers with tons of dip, and told me my sister that we're the fatty one.
Who is this like 80s movie bully?
Literally.
This is also at a funeral.
At a funeral.
Yeah.
you come
This
in
is
and-
so out of pocket.
Yeah,
I'm like,
just
I'm
coming in and like, you're
trying
the
to
fatty
grieve.
one. You're like, what the hell? Why are you bullying me?
I also found this. I think this is the singer. It's Dolce. That's the one I literally typed in Latin American singer who passed away on that date, and that's the one that popped up. So Dolce.
Okay, rip Dolce. All right, my mom, I, and my sister were uncomfortable trying to laugh it out and not
How'd you
make a
even
big
laugh it out?
deal. I just tried to think that he's going through a lot losing his father, but I felt horrible because I know I'm fat. I know I need to lose weight, but it's not his business to mock me in that way when I was there to be a support for his son and his family. My boyfriend was just there silent. I would be furious at my partner if they stayed silent as their parents ridiculed
mocked
me for my body.
Yeah, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, bye.
My boyfriend was just there silent. And then his mom asked if he'd be leaving with us. He had more space. We also lived nearby, so he decided to leave with his female best friend and his other friends. His mom looked at me like she was surprised, and I was disappointed because I knew he was going to leave with them, but I still wanted him to be with me. I don't know if I'm overreacting or if I should tell him how I feel about being left out and how his parents acted with me. Both my mom and sis told me it was all pretty weird and uncomfortable, but I'm trying to be mindful of how they feel right now because they're all pretty close to his grandfather. However, I feel like I was in front of my biggest bullies in existence.
Yeah, legitimately, they're bullying you.
Yeah, it's like a middle school bullies where
Yeah.
it's like cruel,
Like
just
name calling
just
at a
blatant,
funeral.
like just blatant, like insulting. I already deal with body issues, and this was just a confirmation of my thoughts. So what should I do? Would I be wrong if I complained to my boyfriend about his and his family's behavior during his grandfather's funeral?
No, I don't think you would be wrong at all. I think you could say,
confused.
"Hey, your family was pretty cruel to me, and you didn't say anything. What's up with that?"
I would be confused if you didn't say something.
Yeah, like I mean, you're in a relationship with a person, and you would hope that they have your back. So I think it's very fair to be like, "Why didn't you?"
Yeah. And if their family is blatantly bullying, insulting you, and disrespecting you,
Yeah.
and your partner in the moment is not sticking up for you, or after the fact not saying anything,
Yeah,
you have every right to be so upset
absolutely.
and to be like, why did you not say something?
Yeah.
I'm so hurt that you didn't say something.
I agree.
Update. That same night, he called me and texted me to come to my house and sleep together. Honestly, I was feeling really bad and I didn't want to see him, but also felt bad with everything happening with his granddad, so I accepted. He noticed I was cold and asked what happened.
Is this guy dumb?
What do you mean what happened?
This guy's stupid.
What happened?
What's wrong?
He's like, "Why are you so cold, babe?"
What, is something
I
wrong?
was gonna say you're just sad because of the funeral, right?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
sad because my grandpa
quiet.
died. Don't worry about it.
Asked what happened, and after talking with my sister, I decided to send him the Reddit post directly.
She's like, "You know what? I don't even have the energy. Here you go."
So she just like roasted him online. Well, I guess she didn't roast, but
Really
she
roast
like
him. Was
she
just,
like wrote out the whole story and then like sent it to him.
I guess so.
I found that a little strange. I
I
think
mean, sometimes writing things out from your perspectives can be helpful if you don't know how to verbally say it.
sure, but it's like I'm upset at this thing, and
Yeah,
it's
I
the first
posted
time
about
I'm
it.
sharing it with you. But just to let you know, I shared it online forever.
Yeah, I guess if she told him, if she directly shared it with him rather than like copy and pasted.
Also, I wanted to update. It's not Dolce because Dolce is a woman and it's a grandpa. So, because someone said that, I looked it up a little bit more. The only other person who passed away in that near time is Sergio Mendes. I cannot find this singer. That's the only one I found on that date.
So it might be Sergio Mendes.
It might be. I don't know. I don't want to say like, oh, that's it. But like,
It's Sergio Mendes.
you gave me the details, and those are what I got.
Guys, it's Sergio Mendes.
Sophia. Okay. I decided to send him the Reddit post directly. He told me they have always been this way, and he had discussions with them before about their comments, as he's a slim guy and he tends to be really thin if he doesn't work out or eat enough, and they always made mean comments to him about it. He told me he didn't pay attention to the comments, but that he saw my point and he saw why it made me feel bad. I get it. Like, you're living with parents who, like, this is just what the behavior you had to live with your whole life of them, and, you know, insulting body and pointing out, you know, body things. But it should be so obvious that if they're not doing it to you, that you're used to it, they're doing it to your partner.
Yeah.
And it should be so obvious that you let your partner down by not standing up or protecting.
No, I can't imagine, like, you know, I mean, my parents wouldn't do this, but like if my parents were, it's, you know, consistently throughout my life had been saying stuff about my body, and I'm like, you know what, this is just whatever, it's my parents. But like letting them do it to another person, like a friend or
it just feels like it's just like a little bit of a self-awareness to realize like it's so different and it's not okay, and that someone would be really hurt by it.
Yeah.
I told him that if something like that happens again and he doesn't say a thing, I'm breaking up with him. I didn't want my future children, if we get to that point, to spend any time alone with them because I won't let his parents be that way. I already had that war with my own family, mom, aunts, and uncles, and I won't put the same effort into his family. Regarding his female best friend and his friends, he told me they just gave him a ride and he felt bad not leaving with them when they went out of their way to be with him. They all live near each other except the girl, she lives in another place. I honestly didn't have an issue with her. We're friendly and have hung out before, and he was calling me right away to ask if he could come so there's no suspicion of something happening. And we would never be suspicious of you if you joined us to listen to full episodes of stories like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to podcasts, search OK Storytime. So far, nothing else has happened, but maybe I'll see his parents again, as his mom's birthday was on Sunday and they didn't do anything as per the passing away of his granddad. And my birthday is this upcoming weekend, and she's asking to do something, but I'm not sure as I don't want to see them and have avoided them the few moments we could have encountered each other. Also, I'll have a birthday party on Friday and everyone I love will be there, so I'm pretty happy about it. Thanks everyone for all the comments and the support. If my boyfriend doesn't stand up for me in any other occasion, I'll make sure to update you and let you all tell me I told you so. Best.
Hopefully not. Hopefully he does stand up for you and he learns from this experience.
I feel like it would be like a display of trust if he didn't wait till the next time, but like talk to his parents.
Went back. I think that
like I don't think you had to wait till the
that.
next time, but be like, hey, parents, like
we don't even
did this at the funeral.
Yeah. This was
that
rude.
was not okay.
I think that's a great point. I think it's like, no, I don't want to wait until your parents disrespect me again. Go talk to them now. You don't like, well, why wait? Yeah. It's still it's still an issue.
Yeah.
Hasn't been resolved.
Thanks, Stella.
Grow a spine. I don't know, man. That sucks. Stand up for your partner.
Yeah, stand up for your partner.
But that is the end of that story. And
my boyfriend was trying to cook. He didn't even put it in the oil. I, 30 female, have been dating this guy, 33 male, for 1 year now. He moved into my house right away. I cook for him practically daily for the entire year, despite having a very busy job. He's also very messy, so I clean up after him all the time. He never offered to help with cooking. His reasons: I don't have talent for cooking like you do.
I freaking hate that reason.
Cleaning or any chores around the house.
You're his mother.
He did help to do some minor things like putting the dishes in the dishwasher, taking them out, but only after I asked him repeatedly, never voluntarily.
You're living with a man-child. Leave.
I just want you to want to do the dishes. By the way, this comes from Impossible Angel 36 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So sometimes I'm baffled at how much common sense he is lacking in general. For example, the one time he did try to cook, he didn't even put the oil in. He claimed he didn't know about cooking oil's existence.
How did this man exist for this many years?
Resulting in complete ruin of the pot. In fact, he doesn't even know how to use a tie twister to seal the bread back. It's not like his family is super rich or anything for him to get away with this much ignorance. Even the Kardashians know how to cook. I tried to teach him how to do simple cooking many times, but he doesn't really want to learn. We live in a rather small city, so if I don't cook, it's going to be fast food or greasy fake Asian food that day. On top of it, he's a picky eater too. I'm okay with eating leftovers for multiple days in a row, but he wants fresh and different food every day. So I have to cook daily. I complain to him, begging him to cook just some simple things like pasta, air fry salmon, or salad once in a while to help out. But he said he talked to his mother about it, and she said if he doesn't like cooking, then he doesn't have to do it. There are two people in a relationship. One has to cook more than the other. What does she mean by that statement? Do they expect me to cook and do the chores all the time because I'm a woman? I work 12 hours per day. Is it so horrible to ask my boyfriend to chip in for some help to share the housework? I'm just so stressed out to think how nightmarish my life will be once we have kids. Girl, don't have kids.
You're only a year in. You're a year in. Leave him.
I saw a nice little test to see if you want to have kids with a person. And you basically ask yourself, would you want a version of your partner copied? Like, would you want like a small version of your partner?
Do you want to keep seeing your partner more?
Yeah. And I'm going to say, OP, I don't think you want to see a little carbon copy of your partner.
No, especially because if you have sons, this is how they're going to think.
Oh my gosh, mom will take care of it. Mom will do it.
Yeah. And then you're going to be picking up after everyone.
Yeah. Update. Oh, to summarize, I, 30 female, started dating a man, 33 male, about a year ago. He was my first boyfriend / relationship. So I was very committed and involved, but for him, I was his fourth girlfriend.
That's the thing. I think sometimes when you're in your first relationship, you're like, I'll just let anything slide.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yep.
Get out.
We met right through work. He moved in with me right away, and he recently moved to a different city nearby for a job. I encountered many issues during this relationship, including but not limited to him not wanting to cook, clean, or help with any chores. This continued even after he moved to the new apartment. So whenever I would go there to visit him, I was still doing those things for him.
That's insane.
Essentially doing chores for two places.
That's insane.
How nice.
Why are you dating this man?
He also didn't want to tell his parents about me. Eventually, he told them after I threatened to leave. But he still doesn't want to mention me at all during his phone conversations with them. This isn't really how it goes.
The thing is also, it's so concerning that he moved in that quickly, because she said right away. I don't even know what right away means.
Was he like in between places? Because he did have an apartment.
Yeah, he probably was in between places, and he's like, I need a place to stay. And she was like, well, you can stay with me.
Don't worry.
And then they kind of cemented this dynamic of her doing everything for him.
Yeah, he used to live with his mom, then he found a new mom.
Yeah.
And now his mom visits him to clean up for him.
Mm-hmm.
Some people accuse me of making up stories. I wish, sadly, this is my life. You always got those.
If you're sad about it, leave him.
In fact, I haven't even told half of the outrageous things that happened in our relationship. Oh, we got more.
Really?
To answer some questions. Do I stay with him for money? No. I make much more than he does. So I practically paid for everything, including the furniture in his new apartment, new phone, even a $7,000 overseas vacation canceled last minute because we started a fight at that point.
Girl.
He did offer to pay for meals when we went out to eat about once a week. I always pick something cheap like pizza or a burger to save him money. Ooh, do I stay with him for...
Okay.
No. In bed, he is very selfish, only taking to his own pleasure. Never asked if I was happy when I asked for spicy mouth stuff. He said it was dirty and he has a phobia, but he has no problem with me performing spicy mouth stuff on him.
I freaking hate this man.
Yeah, that's why you need to clean it.
I hate this man.
I can't talk with you here. Oh man. Did I stay with him because he's very handsome and attractive? No, girl, you are 0 for 3.
Why are you with him?
He is
Why
only
are you with him?
He is only considered cute at best, shorter than me, has a beer belly, and has a physical defect that I'd rather not disclose due to privacy. Quite the opposite. I was told I could be a model if I wanted to.
Girl.
Okay.
I literally don't understand. She's like, I hate this man. He's the worst. He's ugly.
Yeah.
And I could be a model. Why are we with him?
What are we doing here? I think the real reason I stayed with him in this horrible situation is because he's my first relationship and we are colleagues / friends before this, so I keep wanting to give him one more chance. He also has one positive trait going for him. Nice. Or rather, passive / flat temperament. For example, whenever I yell at him or become frustrated with him, he doesn't yell back, always promising to do better next time, but he never did. So he's not even going to fight for himself or the relationship.
He doesn't care about any part of this relationship. He doesn't care about you. He just wants a maid.
You guys are absolutely right. This is weaponized incompetence, and I was enabling him. I just broke up with him.
Finally! Finally.
Let's go.
Thank goodness.
Let's go.
If OP had laid out all of those things of like, horrible aspects about him and was like, but I'm staying with him, I would have been like you're the a-hole.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will admit, I did yell at him during the breakup over the phone because I was so disappointed, sad, and angry. I told him I cooked, cleaned, and brought all those things for him because I loved him. To me, love is a verb. I wanted him to know that I show my love through my actions, but I could not feel his love. However, he accused me of keeping scores. Yeah, it's easy to keep scores when
You're a 0.
the opponent is 0.
You don't even have to count your points.
If you really love me, why are you keeping track of things you did for me? I didn't ask you to do or buy me any of those things. I'm not a vindictive person, but at that point, I was so angry, I told him I want to take back the things I purchased in his new apartment. Initially, he was okay with me coming to get a few things, but after he realized I wanted to get everything, I literally brought everything in that apartment. He said, I don't want you to come to my place. If a couple breaks up, they should not see each other anymore. Okay, then don't be in the apartment when I come.
Yeah. Why don't you just close your freaking eyes?
Yeah. Go in the corner, close your eyes.
Turn around, wear a dunce cap.
And
Time out.
Everything will be gone. When I insisted I wanted to get my things, he refused to budge. I will talk to my parents. We'll drop off your TV together at your place. Do not come to my place. Ooh, conspiracy theory. He's already got another chick there. Clean it up for him. It's got someone scrubbing the floors.
Honestly, I could see it.
I don't understand why he suddenly wants his parents involved at this stage of our relationship, because he also has someone else and he's told them about her and they said, hey, we've already broke up with my other ex.
Yeah, I don't know. They're enabling him in every corner of the story.
He never even bothered to mention me to them or them to me before. And he claimed we should not see each other. But when they return my things to me, assume that they will, we will see each other. So what's the point? Also, he only mentioned the TV and nothing else. But you know what? Nothing else matters in this world if you don't join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube,
Facebook,
TikTok,
and Twitch.
All you gotta do is tap a profile.
Tap it.
Yeah, he's being enabled at every single part of this.
Yeah. I've already given my thoughts, and OP has taken them. She's breaking up with this man, but
thank
I don't
goodness.
trust him as far as I could throw him, which I'm not that strong, so it's probably not that far. I think there's a
You did the right
huge
thing.
chance. Well, yeah, I was just going to say, I think there's a huge chance that he's already cheating on you, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. He doesn't seem like the best moral,
compass kind of guy.
Yeah.
My parents told me to forget about it and move on, but I'm just so angry right now. I honestly don't care about money. Likely, I will throw everything I purchased for his apartment to the dumpster/street. Dude, girl, eBay, Craigslist.
eBay.
I just don't want him to have them anymore because they represent my love that he carelessly tossed aside. What do you suggest I do? I don't feel comfortable meeting with him and his family. Call the police to get my things? Or do you think my parents are right and I should forget about it? Yeah, I would let them drop it off at your place, get everything you can, have a friend with you, Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. Also,
Boom.
if you can get like an itemized list of stuff and be like, these are the things that I want you to bring over.
Yep. But OP, good luck. And this is your first breakup too. She's going through.
Yeah, it's tough.
So it's okay.
But you'll get through it.
You'll get through it.
You seem like a way better person and
Yeah.
hotter and have more money, so
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
The odds are in your favor,
Mhm.
OP.
Odds are ever in your favor.
Yes.
But that's the end of this story. So let's get into the next one.
Boom, boom, boom.
My possessive partner wants me to ditch my friend because he's my ex?
All right, I need more information.
The title sounds bad, I know. Please bear with me. I'll try to give as much context as possible. So, Ben and I have been friends for a bit over 5 years now. During this time, we dated twice, but never over 3 months. The first time was from December 2015 to February 2016, and the second time in May 2017. By the way, this comes from Cerise Biscuit, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, we split amicably both times and figured that we just work better as friends after all. We weren't romantically involved after that, but we did kiss in a game of truth or dare in September. Ooh.
What is this, high school?
Ooh. It basically confirmed to me that we were just friends because I felt nothing. Ben and
in front of everyone. Of course you felt nothing.
Ben and I have so much in common and we know each other so well that it's a running joke in our friend group that I'd be able to read his mind. Of course, this is not true, but we can talk to each other openly and are just really comfortable around one another. We helped each other through dark times and I can always count on him. Ben is one of my closest friends who just happens to be my ex. We were joking about our failed relationship like, what were we thinking, LOL, and stuff like, been there, done that, fool me twice, and so on. It's really just a joke to us by now, and we will never try having a relationship ever again. Now, in late October, I met this guy. Let's call him Chris. We met at a party and hit it off right away. We had a deep conversation and ended the night with a hookup. Ooh. We didn't get in contact right away after that, but by the end of November, we started seeing each other. We hadn't had the defining the relationship talk yet, but we agreed that we enjoyed getting to know each other and liked how things were for now. Fast forward a bit. My best friend and her boyfriend wanted to throw a New Year's Eve party. They invited all our friends and allowed dates to come along too. I thought this would be a great opportunity for Chris to meet all my friends officially. I already knew that Ben would be there, so I mentioned it to Chris. I had already told him that I was still friends with an ex before. Chris told me that he wasn't bothered and that it shouldn't bother him anyway since we weren't even official yet. I was happy that he took it so well, but reassured him that he could always tell me if he ended up being bothered and he wouldn't have to play cool just because we aren't boyfriend-girlfriend yet. The night of the party comes and I introduce Chris as the guy I've been dating for a month now. That's kind of crazy though, you know?
What?
To be like, this is the guy. That's like so bold of you.
You could just be like, this is my friend Chris.
I would just be like, this is Chris.
This is my friend Chris.
I don't know if I would ever be like, this is the guy that I've been dating. I don't know. That feels like,
yeah, like
wow.
that's something you do like as an aside.
Yeah, you're like, this is the guy I've been dating for. If it's the guy you've been dating for a month, you go, this is Chris.
Yeah, hey, this is Chris.
I introduced Chris as the guy I've been dating for a month now to my friends. We drink, we mingle, I catch up with them. Chris gets to know some of them and seems to enjoy it. Midnight comes, we start the countdown, and I kiss Chris as the new year starts. Ooh! After that, I make my rounds. I hug all my friends, wish them all the best. Kisses on the cheek are exchanged, the usual. We celebrate some more and nobody gets home before 5 a.m. Wow. Chris calls the next day and tells me he had a good time and I should thank my friend for the invitation on his behalf. I do exactly that and my friend tells me how lovely Chris has been and jokes that I should better make it official soon or else someone else will. Typical girl talk, you know? So it seemed that both my friends and my potential boyfriend nailed their first impressions. All was well until I met up with Ben for coffee on Sunday. Naturally, the party comes up and I asked him what he thought of Chris. Ben was hesitant at first, but then told me that Chris had been a little frosty towards him. I decided to give Chris the benefit of the doubt. There were nearly 30 people at the party, and maybe he didn't get the chance to be in an in-depth conversation with Ben, so I didn't talk to Chris about this and told Ben that he might just be imagining things. Ben agrees, and we don't mention Chris again for the rest of the afternoon. Which brings us to yesterday evening. I was over at Chris's place, and we just finished dinner, and we're thinking of watching a movie before hitting the sheets. Ooh! The conversation drifted off and Chris asked me about my weekend plans. I told him that some friends and I would be meeting for drinks on Saturday to celebrate a birthday. Then he asked me if Ben would be there. Not really knowing where he was going with this, I answered that, yeah, he would also be there. And that's where crap hit the fan. In a passive-aggressive tone, he says how ridiculous it was how much time we spent together and that I should be with him if I loved him so much and how I always spent more time with Ben than him and how I hugged Ben for far too long on New Year's.
What is that? Someone's a little insecure.
I'm sorry. She spends more time with the friend that she's known for like 5-ish years versus the guy that she's been seeing for a month.
Also, he's like, you hugged him for too long.
On
Brother.
New Year's. On New Year's.
She kissed you.
She kissed
Yeah,
you, boy.
dude, come on.
I was so dumbstruck. Days before, he told me he was cool with it. He even insisted that he was not at all bothered. And now this? I told him that I've hung out with Ben only 3 times since we started dating. Once for a Christmas celebration with some other people, once at the party on New Year's, and the only one-on-one time was the coffee we had on Sunday. I also hugged all my friends at the party and didn't really count seconds to measure who got the longest hug. I tried to tell him repeatedly that I had no feelings for Ben. I tried to reason with him, and he was really defensive all of a sudden, and tried to argue that even if I didn't have feelings for Ben, he would most definitely still have the hots for me.
In a way, that's kind of a compliment, though, right?
Yeah, it's like,
It's
look,
like, well, you're just
she can't-
so hot
Yeah.
and attractive that there's no way any man could possibly not be into you.
Yeah, but you know who she's got right now? You.
She's got you, babe.
That's where I got angry and told him that if he trusts me so little, we might as well end it then and there. He didn't want things to end, me neither, to be honest, and told me that he could really see a future with me if it wasn't for Ben. I explained that Ben is my friend and I won't ditch a friend for a guy who is this insecure only a month into dating. Exactly. If this is how he's acting a month into dating, you guys aren't even official yet. I didn't spend the night and went home instead. I still really like Chris, but leaving friends behind is a huge deal breaker for me. He texted me this morning and asked me if I wanted to talk things over. I haven't responded yet, and I honestly don't know what to do now. My head is a mess. I don't want things to end with Chris. It's been so good up until now, but I can't lose Ben either. And there is an edit and some updates, but
Dude, we're losing
what are
Chris.
your thoughts?
We're losing
Lose
Chris.
Dude, if this is how he's acting 1 month in.
1 month.
We're losing Chris. We're keeping Ben.
Chris is
That's
out.
that.
Ben's in. That's that. That's easy.
It's really that simple.
Ben's chill, man. You gotta find someone who's chill with Ben.
I mean, well, I wouldn't say it would be a lie to not tell people that like y'all used to date, but
No,
like it would certainly make it easier if there's truly like nothing there and it's like a previous life. It's like you just go like, yeah, this is my friend Ben.
I think that it is good to always give, like, you know, if you've had any romantic thing with a person in the past, to tell a partner at some point. I think that is like good practice.
High school.
Yeah, I know.
But like if you had, but I'm saying like, well, I guess, well, okay, they're still pretty close to high school here though. So I guess that's not fair for me to say.
I had a person tell me like they had a past experience from high school and they told me like they were still friends with this person. They told me.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just like good practice, you know?
I will agree with this. I agree with this.
Edit. Wow, this got way more attention than I anticipated for. Thank you all for your advice. I can't answer all the comments, but I read all of them. I agreed to talk to Chris and we had a calm discussion. He apologized for how he lashed out and I said that I should have been more considerate of how the situation affected him. Some stuff came up in our talk that put some things in perspective and I'll have to deal with them in the next few days. Again, thanks to everyone who took the time to give me advice and I'll keep you updated. And there is an update. Let's get into it. Thanks to all the people who gave me their advice and perspective on the matter. It was greatly appreciated and helped me sort my priorities out. That was terrible. I was trying to she's really got to sort her priorities out.
What is that?
It's Ron in the first movie.
Oh,
she's really
dude, that's the one I've seen the least.
Priorities out.
I think I've only seen Chamber of Secret or Sorcerer's Stone.
Dude, I think
like,
I've
twice,
seen
maybe.
the first one and the third one the most because I always start with because everyone's like, let's do a Harry Potter rewatch. They're like, let's watch 4, and I'm like, no, we have to start at 1. First, let me clear up some things I probably should have made clear in the original post. The thing with the mind reading is not really meant to be taken as a soulmate situation. Ben sometimes struggles to get a point across, but I seem to get it most of the times and can tell people what he meant to say. So I think this got blown out of proportion a bit. I should have phrased this differently. Sorry. That's just what, like, you know, friends, I can read my friends' minds, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be like, you know, the thing.
I
And they're
do it
like,
with
yeah,
him all
that
the
thing.
time.
And I'm like, yeah.
Sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just know.
You just freaking know, man.
I can read your mind like a book.
What am I thinking of right now?
Smash.
No, it's close though. It was a game.
Balatro.
No, it's Halo.
You should have known that. Also, many people referred to Chris as my boyfriend in their comments, which he was not. We were dating for a month. Oh, we're dating. And weren't an official couple. Another thing I should have talked about is how Ben and I ended up dating for a second time. An acquaintance told us that it was a shame that us dating never worked out, and we decided to test the waters again. Not even a month in, I said that it did not feel right. He agreed and said how relieved he was that I felt it too, and we went back to being friends. That was considerably easy since we hadn't even had spicy sleep in that month. Chris knew that the second time wasn't all that serious. One comment was suspicious of why Ben hadn't moved on, so I probably should have mentioned that Ben had a girlfriend from February to June 2018. I liked her, and she was always lovely to me. She left him because, ironically, she still had feelings for her ex, so I thought it'd be safe to assume that he'd be over me as well. None of my close friends talked about my history with Ben, and they didn't joke about us at the party. They genuinely want me to be happy, and most of them instantly liked Chris. However, something did happen at the party that ended up causing all of this mess. So buckle up, folks.
Oh boy.
Now that that's been said, let's move on to the crap show that's been my life for the last couple of days. After reading some of your comments, I texted Chris back and agreed to talk about things that night under the condition that we both will be civil and adult about it. He was fine with that, and I came over to his place. Chris started the conversation by immediately apologizing for how aggressive he reacted and how stupid he felt for not being able to keep it together. He said it wasn't fair of him to mistrust me and that his jealousy was ridiculously overblown considering we weren't even official. I told him that it's okay if he gets jealous or uncomfortable, but I just wished we could have talked about it before things escalated. I apologized for not being sensitive enough to realize that no matter what he said to me, he wouldn't exactly be thrilled with the situation. I could have made more of an effort to reassure him and adapt situations so that we could both be happy. We both made it clear that it would make us sad if things ended before they even begun, and we'd probably end up regretting not giving this another shot. After all, we have this crazy chemistry and got along so well.
It's like, it's bananas. It's bonkers.
I don't know how we do
it. Come on. Is it really though? Is it?
Yeah, I feel like he's a dime a dozen. Chris? There's 100 Chris's.
There's 100 million guys who'll be like, you can't talk to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at you. You could find a different one.
Yeah. Men are everywhere.
Well, we are.
And
but
so
the
are
good
women.
Men, the good men?
Men are
The
everywhere.
good men are only in this room.
The good men don't exist.
Are the
No, I'm
good
just
men in the room with us right now?
Yeah, they're in the room.
They
They're
are.
in the room.
They're in the room with us right
They're
now.
in the room right now.
That's right. Wow.
Now, all that seemed to stand in the way of a happy ending was an awkward conversation about my friendship with Ben. But before I could even get into it, Chris dropped this bomb. Uh-oh, what's the bomb? What do you think the bomb is?
It's thermonuclear. It's small yield. I don't know. Maybe he likes Ben.
He's like, I can't have you be in a friendship with Ben because our chemistry is just too good. So at the party, he overheard Ben and his best friend talking. Ben said how awful it was to see me with another guy and how unfair it was that we weren't an item.
Is this a lie,
Ben's
though?
still in love. Chris did not know what to do with that. He said that that's where what little jealousy and insecurity he had went from 0 to 100 and he couldn't help seeing red.
I don't know. I'm calling lie. I'm calling lie. This is a lie. That's what I'm saying.
He weighed his options and thought if he told me, it'd end in a situation where it's his word against Ben, and I believe Ben more. He also didn't want to be that guy that ruined a friendship. So he swallowed his feelings until they burst out when I casually mentioned hanging out with Ben. As he told me that, I put my guard up and took it with more than just a grain of salt. That story also sounded cartoonishly convenient. Some people in the comments warned me that he could try to manipulate me and I had to look out for myself. I told them in all honesty that I'd have to talk to some other people as it was hard to take his word for it given the current situation. Smart. Chris was very understanding and told me that whatever solution I come to, he'd have to accept it because, as he put it, he lost the right to be involved in this with throwing a jealous fit. I disagreed, but he was adamant about me having to find my truth. We ended the night with me telling him that I really wanted to trust him when he said to me for the sake of salvaging our relationship, but it was just so hard and I was so confused. He again said that he understands and that I should take my time to sort things out. Then he gave me a long hug. Yes, this one was actually long, and I left to figure things out. I think in this situation, you go to Ben's best friend that he was talking to because presumably they're like buds. You go to Ben, but Ben could lie.
Ben's as a best friend of a man, it's like you keep that close to the vest.
Well,
if,
I'm
like,
just saying
if
it.
she
Maybe they're
walks
like
up and is like,
mutual.
"What's up with this?" I'd be like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
I don't know.
Because I would leave that up to Ben to do.
But
If he trusted me with that information, I wouldn't just like tell her.
But if it's
she
not
asked
true,
me.
what are you saying? No, we never said that.
I'd be like, what? Yeah, if it's not, if I don't have a secret to guard for my best friend, then I'm just gonna be like, yeah, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
And if I do have one, I'm gonna be like, yeah, what are you talking about?
No. No, you're gonna be caught off guard. You'd be like, there's gonna be tells.
Not for me.
Not for me.
Not for me. Except sometimes, yes.
There's so many tells. And oh boy, did I figure things out. The first thing that came into my head was that at the party in September, the one where I dared to kiss Ben, guess who thought of the dare? It was Ben's best friend, who, if I'd take Chris's word, would know if Ben still had feelings for me. Ben's friend was also the person who suggested playing Truth or Dare in the first place, even though he usually doesn't like that many drinking party games.
Wait, so he's doing the opposite. He's actively trying to get them back together. Ooh.
Then I thought about how weird Ben acted when I asked him about Chris. At the time, I was convinced that he just didn't want to hurt my feelings. But what if he just saw his chance of getting Chris out of the picture and held an inner debate whether he should act on it or not? My head was in bits and pieces as I overanalyzed basically every interaction I had with Ben for the past months. I had to rip the Band-Aid off and talk to Ben directly. So I asked him if he'd be free after work and he came over. We usually don't spend time alone at each other's places, so he knew that something wasn't quite right. He was very awkward, but I had carefully thought about what to say beforehand, which made it a bit easier. I told Ben that I value our friendship, but had gotten the suspicion that he might want more out of our relationship that I could give him, and asked if this was true. Ben is a bad liar, so he got defensive instead and asked me if Chris wanted to separate us. He used the phrasing, separate us.
Okay, so it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
I told him that it did not matter if Chris was involved in this because I just wanted a clear answer on whether us being friends was enough for him or not. He avoided the answer, asking again if this was because of Chris. He spun in circles trying to change the subject and ended up saying some mean things about Chris not being a good person and whatnot. Reminder that their first and only interaction had been at the party. I, however, stayed focused as I wanted an answer. Given his avoiding of my question was answer enough, but I was getting angry with him and I wanted him to spell it out. After some more more back and forth, he finally snapped. Fine. I thought that we'd eventually get back together, and it was only a matter of time until you realized that we were meant to be. You should be with me. Then we wouldn't have to deal with this. His words still echo in my head. Like, what? I could have handled him having a little crush on me, or if he felt that some things were left unresolved, but this, it felt like my entire world was shattered. That is crazy. To think that you have this like great friendship with this guy, and then he's actively trying to like sabotage your relationship.
I hate to say it, but Chris's instincts were sharp
as
a tack.
So maybe we were wrong. Maybe we owe Chris an apology.
Chris, I do solemnly apologize to you.
Maybe Chris is one of the good ones. It felt like my entire world was shattered. All these years of friendship, he just stuck around to one day get back together with me. Everything we've been through and everything he did for me was just so that I'd eventually realize that we should date again. I told him that I couldn't return his feelings, not now and not in the future. We had tried twice. It didn't work out. At least for me, it didn't. And I saw nothing that could change that. I wanted us to be friends, but I don't think it's possible under these conditions. He got pretty worked up about it, and it was like watching someone go through all stages of grief except acceptance. We can still work this out. This is unfair. No one will ever love me. I'll change, and we can try again in a few months.
Oh my God. Come on, dude. Like, have a little self-respect. There's more than one fish in the sea.
Dude, you can find another OP.
She plays both sides. She plays both.
I'll change, and we can try again in a few months. It took a lot out of me, but I remained calm and told him that it'd be better if we stopped seeing each other for quite some time. Then I asked him to leave. I was exhausted and honestly creeped out. I felt so betrayed. This person that I was so close to and that I trusted so much was always acting with an ulterior motive. That is, ouch. I called my best friend, and once she heard me sob through the speaker, she got in her car and came over. See, that's a real friend.
Yeah.
Ben's a fake friend.
Ben would be coming over so he could be like,
it'd be like,
you want to date me instead
cry into my shoulder.
He would like take a little vial and bottle your tears.
You know what'll help when you're crying? Giving me a kiss on the lips.
You know what's? It's really hard to cry when you're making out with me.
It's like that scene. Now I'm just making another Harry Potter thing, but it's like that scene with Harry and Cho Chang, and she's like sobbing, and he's like,
I guess I
thought we were freaking kissing.
I always thought, the Harry and Cho Chang exchanges in the movies were
so
always
awkward.
so funny and awkward to me.
Yeah, book accurate though.
But I think that's what that is like, the point. That's the point.
Because she's not over her boyfriend, and he's like,
he's also,
and they're like, how was the kiss? And he's like, wet, and that's what I'm imagining this as.
Yeah, and that was like, he's also just like a little awkward high schooler.
And he's also 14 years old.
Yeah, he's a little.
I told her what had happened, and she was horrified. She had no idea. As word spread in these last 2 days, it turned out that my friends didn't know about his feelings either, and most of them were shocked and repulsed by how he acted. By the way, you should be shocked that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
We have a shocking amount of stories.
But there's a little bit left of the story. Do you have any final thoughts on this subject?
Yeah, like you're young.
Yeah.
It's very young.
20.
That's not how every guy's gonna be. It's how this guy is.
Yeah.
And it feels like, honestly, because y'all started dating in high school, I don't know. He's holding on to some sort of sentiment and nostalgia that's just like not there, and you've moved through and he hasn't. That's fine. You just leave that guy alone.
It's not a friendship that you can maintain, obviously, because it doesn't want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
He has ulterior motives.
You're not on the same page. And it doesn't even have to be sneaky for that to make things not work. If somebody starts here and another person starts there and it's not like addressed, that gap is like, it's hard to make that work.
I got some amazing support from my friends, and they were great at helping me not losing my head over this so far. Chris and I talked yesterday, and I apologized for putting him in such a horrible situation. I hadn't wanted for us to start out with this level of drama. He believes that I wasn't to blame, but I still think I should have realized some things earlier. It's been 5 years of friendship, for Christ's sakes. Sometimes you just don't because you're expecting a friendship, and it's kind of, sometimes that's what you think it is.
For you, it's 5 years of friendship. For him, it's like
different.
5 years of like
you.
pining after you and secretly wanting to date you.
Chris was very sweet. He ordered food from my favorite takeout place. We watched a movie and cuddled up on the sofa. He said that he was glad that we came out okay, and somehow everything was worth the struggle in the end. He also asked if I wanted to be his girlfriend, and I said yes. Wow!
Here we go. We're back with Chris.
And we're back with Chris.
And
we're on the
Chris-
Chris train.
Chris is in the lead.
Chris, you're winning. But that's the end of that story.
My ex-husband wants to rekindle our friendship, but my friend judged our past.
Ooh, well, did you tell your friend all of the bad stuff that happened in your relationship?
I guess so, yeah. As the title states, I went to my best friend's Christmas/her husband's birthday party on the 24th and met my ex there for the first time since our divorce. By the way, this comes from user Confused Xmas Throw, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, apparently he is one of my BFF's husband's co-workers. He didn't know that I would be there and was as surprised as I was. We made some small talk and then I hopped over to chat with another friend. During the evening, we bumped into each other a couple of times. He made some jokes, but most of the time I tried to avoid him. Yesterday, my best friend sent me a screenshot in which my ex asked her husband for my number in case I wanted him to have it because he wanted to ask me out. The thing is, nobody in the city knows that we were once married to each other.
Oh. What? I'm in a box.
Secret marriage.
Secret marriage.
Ooh.
Secret marriage.
This is messy.
Yeah, a little messy. When I moved here 5 years ago from the other side of the country, I never mentioned my divorce, and he didn't either. So now my friend and her husband want to hook us up because, quote, you seem to have such great chemistry at the party. Oh no.
Wait, how do you have a
secret marriage, secret ex?
Don't you need at least one witness?
I mean,
I think they probably were chatting a little bit and like he was like flirting probably. Putting on the flirt, and they were like, hey, like, love to get her number, not telling them that this is his ex-wife.
Yeah, can you give me back my ex-wife's number, please?
Huh? We need to know why they're exes.
Yes, I think we're gonna get there. The other thing is that I never realized how much I missed him until he entered the room. Our relationship was a mistake. We got married because we were the only unmarried couple in our social circle, and everybody else was already having babies.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's insane. But hey, now you know. The divorce was inevitable. Our communication was rubbish. I wanted kids and he didn't, at least not at that time. His mom was meddling and he did not stand up to her.
So has anything changed?
I mean, for sure, things change.
But like, but I'm not saying they haven't. I'm just saying, has anything changed? Because otherwise,
would things be different in the context of a relationship?
Yeah, it's an actual question. That wasn't a rhetorical one.
I mean,
has anything changed?
I mean, there has to have been. At the same time, we were really good friends, and meeting him again made me more than happy. But I had a chat with my cousin, 32 female, and her husband, who are spending Christmas and New Year's Eve with me. And they told me not to overreact, and that being nostalgic for the things that could have been was natural during the holidays. So now I am debating to meet him, talk to him, and be done for good. But the risk of catching feelings again is high.
Ooh.
He did look better than 5 years ago. And finally left his hometown to work for his dream business, something I told him to do years ago. Am I exaggerating or overreacting? What should I do? Okay, I'm probably not a great person to ask for this.
Yeah.
However, I would say just start if you want, like if you really did like reconnect with this guy unexpectedly and you did feel like I feel good, like with this guy, don't rush into a relationship. Don't rush into anything, but you can like start hanging out with this person, just establishing a base level of friendship.
I think you can establish base level of friendship, but like if it ever does come to a point where you're like, oh, there might be some romantic feelings, you need to be so freaking sure that things have changed.
Well, I mean, and if you really do feel that, you need to be like straight up.
Yeah, like immediately. Like, oh, I'm starting to feel, feelings.
Clear, consistent communication, especially because you said that y'all didn't communicate well
you have to like, it can't be the same or it's just gonna, it's gonna end up with divorce.
And it's easier said than done because it's probably gonna be really scary, but the best things in life are on the opposite side of fear. So maybe try it. There's an update 20 days later. Let's go. After posting, I really wanted to answer your comments, but I got distracted. So I read them all, thought about them, and applied some. This is what happened. Shortly after posting and before answering my best friend's message, I ran into my ex in the supermarket. We had a short talk. Everything was cordial. And since I did not want to jump to conclusions without talking to him, we went for coffee afterwards. Long story short, we agreed to stay on a friendly level for our own good. He admitted that he felt extremely sentimental after meeting me the last time, and I admitted to feeling both giddy and panicky at the same time. He apologized for things that he did or didn't do during our marriage, mainly not defending me against his mother, with whom he doesn't have any contact anymore. Then we discussed our friends. Some people asked in my original post why I never told my best friend about my failed marriage. The reason is that she might be one of the kindest people I know, but she is quite religious, and I'm not, and she's extremely against divorce. In her eyes, you should sacrifice your happiness for the benefit of others. So getting a divorce is the coward's way out. It means you don't deserve love. Consider it mocked. That's the energy I was getting from that.
Yikes.
It's the coward's way out. Shut up.
Honestly, I don't know if we need to be listening to this friend about relationship advice then.
What is this, the 18th century? Scramoose.
Scram.
Her mother-in-law treats her like... Her husband stays quiet because she, quote, is glad that mother-in-law gave her the most important thing in her life and rather endures the rants and boundary stomping.
Yoicks.
So telling her about my divorce would have resulted in one of two scenarios. Scenario A, she'd never talk to me again because I didn't do marriage correctly, or B, she'd try to get me back with my husband. Some days ago, one of those scenarios happened. I told her before that I was not interested in giving my ex my number. I already had. Neither he or her husband or my ex's friends knew because I was not looking for a relationship, and I'm actually not. Last March, my relationship failed due to cheating on his part and unwillingness to forgive on my part. She accepted that and invited me for brunch the next Saturday, which is a tradition of ours. Sunday comes and my ex calls me to ask whether I was going to my best friend's brunch. He got an invitation, so we were both there sitting next to each other. Best friend and her husband trying their very best to get us interested in each other. It was like a very bad movie. Like that scene in When Harry Met Sally when they go on a double date. Subtle remarks in the things that we have in common, hints and compatibility, badly masked comments on my unsuccessful love life, until boyfriend's husband says, quote, as far as I know, OP, she would probably make a great wife. My mom likes her, best friend's mom loves her, and she's every mother's dream. And then you just gotta sit there like, oh, yeah, it's very sweet, thank you. Oh my God. Can somebody call in some kind of threat to the restaurant, please? Can we do we have to evacuate?
I need to get out of here.
I need an evacuation order immediately. Please.
She's like, oh, someone's calling me. Or like, there's nothing ringing.
She just goes,
yeah,
ring,
I gotta
ring.
go.
Oh.
Ring, ring. I'm getting a call. Oh no, it's the president. Bye.
Oh, it's the president needs me to arrange his yeah, I gotta go. So after that, the ex says, well, my mother used to call her that woman and told me all her shortcomings until I believed them. Actually, she even admitted to hating her, but in hindsight, she really was a great wife.
What? Okay, why did he say that at dinner? That's wild. That's a wild thing to say at dinner.
Oh,
that's
not even dinner.
This is
This is brunch.
It's not even dark out.
Oh,
they're probably having a margarita.
Dude, he's been having mimosas for sure.
That's what I meant
God.
to say, a mimosa. They're having bottomless mimosas. He's like, well, my mom used to call her that woman.
Yeah, they're trying to find the bottom, and the bottom's winning right now.
Oh my God. The ex and I looked at each other and burst out in laughter, probably due to the pressure and the extreme awkwardness of the situation. Best friend and husband join in, and for a moment they believe that ex made a joke. Then best friend says, we are so sorry for pressuring you. It's just that we like you both and think you'd make a great couple. And ex takes out his effing phone and shows them a picture of our wedding day. Why the F was that there? Because he had sent me some pictures that my ex-mother-in-law withheld from me and said, I mean, we did it, but it didn't work out and we're friends now. Who wants to go to the cinema? Oh my God. Chaos ensued. Worldviews broke. Best friend starts crying.
What?
Best friend's husband was flabbergasted. They make us leave to readjust, quote unquote.
I'm sorry, she starts crying?
That is actually kind of absurd.
Oh my God. You're telling me I've been eating lunch with a divorcee?
Yeah, that's actually kind of absurd. So, yesterday, I spoke to my best friend on the phone and explained everything thoroughly. The abuse by mother-in-law, the arguments, the incompatibilities, the mutual decision to end it, my fear of telling her, and she was silently crying for my future. Quote, you are already so old. You threw away your only chance of happiness. No wonder you don't find love. You threw it away. It won't come back. Your future with X is riddled by betrayal. If you get back together, together you can never mend what you tore apart. What will you tell any partner? I can't understand how you could do that. You always seem so compassionate. Why could you not understand the pain of your mother-in-law? She lost her son to you. You did not respect her wishes and did not listen to her. I'm sure she loved you like a daughter, but you were not ready. You know what that is? That's a whole lot of grasping at nothing right there, dude. You have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm dropping this friend.
Yeah, it's fully time to be like, well, if that's how you feel, I guess I wish you the best.
Yeah, no, this is crazy.
So that is when I said goodbye, had to go, see ya, and I questioned my 5-year friendship. I talked to my mom, to my cousin, and even to my ex, who had a similar but not as emotional talk with best friend's husband, who doesn't even talk to him at work anymore.
Oh my God.
They all recommended that I should give best friend some space. I feel worse than after my last breakup. We have some relevant comments here. From N. Dave T. Your quote-unquote best friend is willing to choose her archaic, destructive views about divorce and marriage over your happiness. I don't think this friendship is worth saving. OP replies, it seems so. That's so frustrating. We disagreed in so much religion-wise, but she was always accepting and tolerant, just as I was. I never demonized her way of thinking, and she never talked down on mine until now. I don't know. Maybe I'll just write her a nice letter laying down my disappointment, offering her a chance to talk if she wants to, and then slowly end things. Jeez, my divorce was easier. That's actually, I think, a perfect idea, OP. Go ahead and do that. No comments or suggestions to add.
No.
That's the perfect way to let go of this.
Perfecto.
Another comment from Cloud Origami. But would you really want to after the way she made you feel? I think, would you really want to save the relationship? She was really crappy to you over that phone call regardless of her views. I'm sorry that this happened to you, OP. You deserve better than that. Hugs. OP says thanks. Hugs right back at you. You're right. I'll write a letter anyway and just let it all out. I will cut contact and just hand her the letter if she confronts me. And God, that just feels like high school all over again. And there's a little edit here. After reading all your comments, I decided to end the friendship. Well, I thought wouldn't that be what you were doing with the letter? Or, oh no, because the letter gave her like a crack in the door.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was like we'll have a conversation.
Yeah. I did not sleep well, so I spent all night writing down what bothered me so that if she dares to talk to me again, I have the right arguments. Regarding her possible frustration or projection, I really acted as her therapist for the whole 5 years of our friendship and realize now how codependent and slightly toxic this relationship actually was.
Slightly.
This is something I have to get over, and though I'm a rather introverted social mess, I really need to look out for new friends who are not as prejudiced. I told one of my colleagues the Cliff Note version of this conflict. She, who is divorced and remarried, told me to join her feminist knitting and sewing group. So yeah, first step. That's nice. And by the way, you can take your first step to listening to full episodes with stories like this. And that first step just involves you searching OK Storytime on your preferred podcast platform, be it iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. We've got 1,200 plus hours for you to enjoy. Now get going.
51 days.
Get on.
51 days and counting.
There is a little bit of story left, but honestly, I don't have anything to say. Do you?
No, I think end that friendship. She's crazy.
We are on the right note here for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
So let's finish it off.
Finish her off.
X has a similar problem now. My friend's husband told their mutual friend group that the ex had loose morals and might be a bad influence. Because this is kindergarten, some of them blocked X on social media. Some asked him what crime he committed, and only one of them told him that A, best friend's husband is way overreacting, and B, he still wants to hang out with X no matter what. So we're now in the same find some new friends boat. My friend's husband actually asked his boss this morning if he could arrange it so that he didn't have to share an office with X anymore. Oh my God, these people are so extra.
He's like, I cannot share an office with a divorcee.
I can feel the sin.
I can't do it.
I can feel the sin emanating.
Well, maybe
off
you
of his
should
dirty soul.
Quit. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it sounds like a you problem, buddy. So yeah, they are also cutting ties. And to the comments asking which culture we or they belong to, we're all generic Europeans. Ex-friends are just belonging to a strange Christian church, a Protestant church, not a Catholic one. And that is the end of that story.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Craziness.
My boyfriend refused to marry me, but he promised his late wife.
I think you got your order of operations mixed up.
Boop, beep, boop, bop, boop, boop.
You make promises to the one that can still talk to you.
For context, I have been with my boyfriend for almost 2 years now. Throughout our relationship, he has been the most attentive, loving, and thoughtful partner. We share house chores. He would buy me little gifts every now and then. He would call me every day while I'm on my way home from work. He always talks about me with his mates, etc., etc. Like, I can't even find a single irritable thing about this guy. By the way, this comes from Peony Diary, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Well, except that he won't marry me because he promised his late wife that she will be his only wife. That is the thing we are up against. She passed away 6 years ago from an illness, and he was pretty effed up for about 3.5 years. After lots of therapy, working on himself, he gradually opened up, and we met through a board game group. He never really spoke about her until we became serious. According to him, she was the one that made him believe in true love and the idea of his soulmate. He also claims that she has moved on, but to honor her memory and promise to her, he will never have a second wife. After we have discussed this, he has never mentioned it again. It's our 2nd anniversary soon, and I'm just thinking about what I want in my life. I'd really like to get married. I want someone to propose to me. I want a groom with tears in his eyes as he sees me walk down the aisle. I love this man with all my heart, and he has given me everything I could ever want in a husband, except he won't be my husband. Honestly, I don't know what to do. I know it's a common thing for partners, and it's all just paper and all, but I guess I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I feel like maybe deep down inside of him, I'm still second to her. How do I navigate this? And we have some comments. The first comment comes from Anamar69. So his late wife made him promise at 34 that he would never marry. I would never do that to my husband. I would want to make happy again. Good point. Does he have children? Does he want any more? Do you want them? If marriage is a deal breaker, you know what you have to do, but I wouldn't worry about being second to someone who would leave such a legacy. God rest her soul, and I am trying not to speak ill of those in eternal sleep, but just saying. OP responds, no. She didn't ask him for that promise. Very important to clarify. He made it willingly when she was still alive and healthy. He doesn't have children and doesn't want one. I'm on the fence in that regard on whether she wants kids or not. And we have the big update. A lot of people shared their view with me in my previous post, so I thought of sharing an update. As I expected, he is adamant in his stance. He was also a bit upset that I made him bring up the topic of his late wife as he doesn't like talking about her. I think he just doesn't like remembering that she's passed away. But he also understood that I could have doubts about his commitment and where I stand in his life. Yes, I'm not quoting him exactly, but he says something like this. And my words have meaning, and because of this, you know when I make a promise, I mean it. I said that I will stay with you forever, so I will stay with you forever. If you want a ring, I will give you a ring. If you want to wear a pretty dress, we can get you a pretty dress. But please don't make me go against my word, because if I do, nothing I say will mean anything anymore. I could promise to love you and maybe stop loving you one day, and you cannot hold it against me. Just really quick, why did he say, if you want a ring, I'll give you a ring? Because he's like, I won't marry you.
This guy's not backing up anything. This guy's so wishy-washy.
Is this guy the dumbest guy ever? He's like, I promised my wife who passed away that I'll never have another wife. So then in my dumb brain, I'm like, I'm just going to make you my wife in everything but the actual like legal document. Hey, guess what, buddy? That's going against what you said, dummy. It's not a loophole. Like, you can't loophole the promise you made. Either don't be with anyone else or be with somebody else.
This guy can't pick a lane, man.
He really can't, though. And also, again, the argument of like, if I go against my word, it'll mean nothing. It's like, bro, just look at the situation. Come on. Anyways.
It's like, come to reality, man. She's not here anymore. It's okay.
Mary was my first love after a string of broken relationships. I love the way I love because I learned it from her. I am who I am because of what I have experienced before. Please understand that sort of impact on my life. I have never compared you to her. I have never actively brought her up in our conversations. I don't even keep mementos of her in our home. I know he keeps them in the bank. Out of respect for you, so why do you question my commitment towards you? I honestly don't know how to respond at the end of that. My mind went completely blank and I felt like an I bawled my eyes out and he just comforted me. We live in a country where de facto partners have the same legal rights as married couples, so I wasn't worried about those issues. I guess I just really needed to hear him affirm his feelings towards me. Those who commented that I merely wanted a wedding could be right as well. Maybe what I wanted was the grandiosity of the wedding, so that's something that I have to think about. And also, I won't lie, I was extremely jealous of his late wife. Resentment for her is definitely something that I should also think about. Someone said couples therapy, but I think the one that actually needs therapy is me. Hold on, sister, because your man might also need some therapy as well.
That is the wildest take I've ever seen. That guy needs therapy. He needs grief counseling.
Yeah, yes.
He needs to learn how to move on.
Yes.
Right here.
That is exactly what it is. Virginia Historio says, this guy needs therapy. It's okay to love his late wife, but still, it's not the new spouse's issue to deal with. He needs to find healthier ways to cope with her loss and moving forward with his life. That is absolutely true because, again, now you're doing the disservice to the new partner. And why did you even get in a relationship with new partner in the first place if this is where you're at? He's not being responsible. But yeah, that's about it. I'm probably staying because I know he loves me and I do love him. Lots of introspection for myself from here on. Thank you, everyone, for your kind comments and suggestions, and I hope you have a lovely day. And those comments and suggestions are not over because we're diving into these next comments. Timely Egg Tart says, I swear all the widow relationship posts in Reddit sound like a nightmare. 92PJ says, I feel like if marriage is what you want, you should end the relationship sooner than later. You said you're staying, but I feel like you can't easily get rid of a desire to get married. It could nag you for a long time and resentment will grow. Administrative 665 says, you chose a broken pot and it doesn't want to hold any water. Can you accept it for what it is? If you really need water, then you need to let that pot go very gently. An obvious throwaway Avi says, nope. I did this once too. And there's nothing more soul crushing than watching someone you love neglect your needs for someone who isn't around to care. Put it like that.
Yeah.
That sounds tough. Promises like that aren't made for late exes. They're made for themselves. The late ex is not doing it for you. He's doing it to you. And he's still currently making you suffer because someone unfortunately passed away. Even if you try to make this work, you're going to get tired of being neglected when you're the one who's there. You're going to eventually feel like that, even though you've been around him longer than the relationship. If you stick around for that long, that you're still not going to be enough for him to move on in the next chapter of life. And even then, if somehow you're convinced to be okay with this and you get to watch later in life when it's his turn to go and you hoped to be at his bedside to hold his hand through it, you get to be locked out of that room and forced in the waiting room with no idea what is going on because no one will answer any of your questions and all you can do is wait.
This is harsh. This is really hard.
Whoa. He's not just condemning you to being viewed as essentially less valuable, but he's also condemning you to a fate of loneliness and loss greater than what he's experienced, all because he fails to understand that marrying someone and moving forward in life with someone is not a replacement for a previous person, but an entirely different experience that is new and not the same. That is not okay. It's not fair to you. And from my own experience, I feel very strongly, I think we can see that you are emotionally being taken advantage of and you're in a position to be gaslit and blamed however you feel about this. Get tired of it and then you're too pushy. But if he gives you what you want, then it's your fault and he decides to lie and cheat. Get mad at him for wasting your time and he gets to claim he's always been the nice guy and told you how it is. And that ambiguously threatening, if you make me a dishonorable person, no good on my word, if you do this to me, effing man up, dude, and stop making someone accountable for your own choices.
The way he processed that just makes me think you don't even know what lying is. You don't know what breaking your word is because you're like, well, as long as I don't do literally the exact thing that I said, it's okay. Being like, well, it's like, I promise I won't cheat on you with any women. Then it's just like, you're like, I cheated on you with men. I told you that I wouldn't cheat on you with women. It's like, you still did something bad.
If you read back to my previous statement, I didn't do exactly that. I did this.
If you thumb back to our relationship agreement, you'll see that the men were totally on the table.
But yes, in adult life, sometimes people make promises they realize they can't keep. And yes, that is life. I promise to never break up with my high school boyfriend. Surprise! I'm 40 and I'm not with my high school boyfriend. Oh!
Liar!
How dare you!
Liar! Deceiver!
But that doesn't mean my whole life is a lie. I'm so sorry you're going through this, OP. I really feel for you, and this thread in particular triggers me because I went through 4 years of this in a relationship that lasted longer and had more life events than what the dude with this late ex did. For all the times I held him when he cried, all the sacrifices I gave, all the love I poured into the relationship, and all the times I put his needs first, from taking care of his senile dementia mother who wouldn't stop threatening me, to risking myself pulling his dog out of a freaking fire, always having his back. It's never enough to finally accept building a legitimate future and all the privileges that come with it. And you don't get the house shopping. You don't get to be the one in the know during emergencies. You don't get the, oh, it's nice to finally meet his wife
when he starts a new job, you get the, if you were such a great girlfriend, why doesn't he marry you? And the, nope, we're not going to discuss procedures and costs with you because you're just a girlfriend. And if you stick around until end of life, either it's you can't take time off work to mourn his passing because bereavement leave is for family only, and you also need to find a new place to live because that's his house, and his family decided to run the eviction process on you, so now you're homeless,
Oh my God.
mourning, and still have to go to work. And you might be lucky to go to the funeral, but you're not going to be able to keep anything to remember him by because his family wants it.
Holy moly. I think we just got the whole story right there.
Hey, this was a crazier story within a story.
Wow. The
I-
storyception.
Wow. I mean, the comment's not over, by the way. There's still more to the comment. That was just the end of that, like, insane, like, crescendo.
That was crescendo is the perfect word for that.
Oh.
They just made Opie like realize, hey, I've been through this.
Yeah, like,
Pretty much.
if anyone has been through it, it is commenter right here. I don't mean to sound like I'm projecting.
That's what you put.
It's a little too late. It's just a little bit too late. But please, please don't do this to yourself. You're going to end up with a complex if you stick around where she has wiener blocked your entire life despite you being the one there to do the heavy lifting. Sometimes jealousy is not supposed to be ignored. So please move on. Don't do 4 years like I did. It's been a while now, but I now have to do therapy to be able to function in the relationship that is living the dream for me. And that commenter just takes us on home because that is the end of that story.
My partner neglected my needs for so long, so I'm slowly pulling away.
Pull away faster, please.
Firstly, I want to say that I'm in love with OK Storytime and I watch it all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
This is one of you out there.
Wow.
I am one of those people that has to deep search afterwards and see if any stories have more updates. It's been a really fun distraction for me. It's almost like reality TV. LOL. I have never written anything on Reddit or anywhere before, but I've been thinking about it these past weeks as I've noticed that some people really do find help in confiding in strangers and seeking their take on things. So here we have it. Fake names, of course. I, 33 female, and my partner, Mike, 32 male, have been together now for 8 years. I've known him much longer as he was a friend of my brother's, but that's a story for another time. And by the way, this comes from user Desperate Coat 2670 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Yeah.
And if you want to submit your own stories, submit them there. We were both in long-term relationships before. Mike's ex had cheated on him, so he obviously had a lot of trust issues regarding relationships, and I could understand that. I hadn't been cheated on, but I was coming out of a relationship where, for the most part, I was gaslighted and mentally mistreated throughout. Me and Mike connected through social media when he commented on a post of mine, and we soon started talking every day. You know that feeling when you just want to stay up all night talking to someone, or you get excited and happy when you wake up and want to see if they messaged you? Yeah, it's that feeling. We did this back and forth for 3 to 4 months before actually ever setting a time and place to meet and go on a date. I admit, after our first visit, we pretty much saw each other every day. Mike would send me songs that reminded him of me or depicted how he was feeling. Lots of honeymoon period stuff. Mike was always work-oriented, but he always made time for me. I was always a priority, and we moved really fast into the relationship. And some more context here, we have a son, James, who's 5. I'm not saying that things have been perfect all of the 7 years. They have not, but the attentiveness and communication seem to take a nosedive in the last 2 years. He is 100% not cheating on me. We're not secretive people. He can look at my phone and I can look at his, and with what his ex did to him, I don't think he could ever put someone else through that pain, to be honest. Over the past 4 years, he got more involved in work and had less time for me, which was hard with having James. It's not like I changed who I was and what I was interested in. I just had another priority. I'm not really a needy person. At first, I was at a loss at what to do, but I quickly filled the time we had shared with hobbies and other things and friends. That's a problem though, because I'm not really the kind of person that likes to deviate from my plans. If you want to spontaneously surprise me, I have ADHD. Last year, I found out in early January that my mother, who I was really close to, like best friends, had cancer, and my whole world really shook. I became a mother, a partner, and a carer all in one. I would take my mother to all of her appointments, and I was with her from her diagnosis until her last breaths. My mother passed away in July of last year. She deteriorated fast. In these 6 months, I was mostly being a mom and being a daughter. I gave all my time and energy to my mom. In the beginning, Mike would offer support and say if I needed him to ask, and after a few times of picking James up from school, he soon got bored of that offer and said he couldn't take the time off work. It was literally his own business. Which I guess part of that is like true, but also like help her.
Yeah, like it's like, hey, we're gonna lose our house if I'm not available from 7:15 to 8:15 a.m. every morning or something like that.
Yeah. Do you like your wife or do you like your job more?
Well,
I am rather independent. I always have been, and I don't like asking for help anyway. So I suffered on. Me and Mike just became like housemates, really. That said, I love you at this point. I did everything with James, the bills, the housework, and when my mom passed away, Mike was there for me, which I was glad for. I needed some time to process, and he took over a lot of the things I normally did and helped me without asking. But a few weeks after my mother passed, Mike was involved in an accident at the end of July 2024 where he was seriously hurt. So I didn't get much time to mourn as he needed me to take care of him, which is fine. I work better this way anyway. Distractions, LOL. He had a spinal injury. Thankfully, he was not paralyzed, but he came close and relied on me to wash him and put his socks on for him, etc., which I gladly did. Our relationship got better. Being home and not able to work, he could see everything I did each day. He seemed to appreciate me more and appreciate the things I did, but he soon spiraled into a deep depression. Even when he got better, he lacked the drive to do anything. He stopped bathing as often as he should. He played video games. I'm a gamer, so I don't mind a game or two, but like, let's say a game has been out for 30 days, he would have played it for 26 of those days.
Oh.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
He would get up, turn his Xbox on, and literally play it all day long in our bedroom. So when I had to go to bed early so I could take James to school the next day, I had to buy an eye mask and earplugs. Skipping forward to now, which that's a lot.
Yeah.
I would hope that some kind of therapy can be done for the mental aspect of what happened to him. It sounds like he definitely needs something.
Definitely.
I love this man, but not much has changed. He spends no time with me or James, even if he's still in the same house and not working due to his accident. A lot of the time, he just grunts at me when I talk to him, or he doesn't reply, then claims he already replied when I ask him again. He won't communicate with me, and if I prod and push at him and voice how I feel, he gets defensive. Then we'll post a random picture quote about depression on social media and how nobody gets it. That's a little frustrating. My mother, my best friend, passed away while I held her hand. Trust me, I get it. I just have to get up every morning and face the world because I don't have anyone else to take over and do the things I do in order for me to fester in this depression. And I'm glad for that. Granted, I don't give him spicy sleep very often, but for me, it's more than it's been a while. Let's do it. My love language is acts of service. I think Katy Perry hit the nail on the head in that interview where she was like, if Orlando does a bit of tidying up, that's the grapefruit. This is me.
What?
Huh? No, don't worry about it.
Oh, I know about it.
I will say it's totally understandable that if your partner is not exhibiting any behaviors that you find attractive or desirable, that you are not going to find him attractive or desirable in a physically intimate way. Totally normal.
Yeah. What was the event for husband that kind of kickstarted the
I think it was probably a car accident,
Yeah.
serious accident, nearly paralyzed.
Yes.
But not paralyzed now.
Right.
But could have been.
Right.
And then I think just spiraled super hard at
Which
out of
again
that.
is like, hey, like that totally makes sense. But now OP's over here and like OP is also going through a lot and taking care of your collective child. And where is the anything here? We're not accepting the help and just kind of like wallowing in the sadness and not like just come together and talk and yeah.
When I don't feel loved, appreciated, and I'm literally doing everything on my own and being grunted at, why would I want to have any spicy sleep? I feel like I'm just pulling away from him. I want to support his depression and be someone who helps him with that because it's tough and it's not all bad all the time. But I feel recently I'm sitting down and I'm having these conversations. I'm being blunt, and if anything changes, it's only for a day or two, and then it's back to how it was.
Yep.
I'm also concerned he has thoughts about ending his life, but he won't talk to me about them. He just won't open up at all, And as an overshare kind of woman, this is super hard and confusing for me. I'll tell you things you don't even have the desire to know about, like it's no big deal. And by the way, I'm going to tell you that we have a great desire for you to listen to full episodes with stories like this. All you got to do is go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, search OK Storytime, and boom, 49 days worth of stories to listen to.
That's right, my friend.
To your heart's content. It's a sticky situation.
Yes.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah. And I will
OP
add some
is
nuance
dealing
too
with.
to my thing before. You know, he might be so far down that it is hard to come to her and like have a conversation, dialogue, change, etc. And I'm not saying that he's not allowed to have that. More so just saying that it's like unfair for all of this weight to be on OP. And, you know, OP wants to do the right thing. She wants to help him through this and help him out of this.
I think reach out to anyone else who's in his support system, whether it's like family or friends, and just be like, I don't know if y'all know how hard he's going through right now.
Yes.
But it's like, I can't seem to get him to snap out of it. I can't get him to feel any better. You can tell somebody they should go to therapy, but it's like, you can't really like force them to go.
Yep.
So it's hard. It's a tough spot to be in for sure.
See what else OP has to say.
So, sorry this is dragging now. I said to myself, I won't post one of those big, long, boring ones, but how do you get everything out in such a short space? Well, it hasn't been big, long, and boring.
No,
Don't worry
not at
about it.
all.
Basically, I just wanted to know anyone's thoughts. Counseling, antidepressants, etc. are pointless. He's a typical stereotype of a man's man that deems it so. Am I the a-hole? What do I do? Thank you. But you know,
I'd be curious what they think
Yeah.
OP should do.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, mother-in-law, hey, father-in-law, hey, brother-in-law, hey, sister-in-law, whoever those like kind of key people are. Like, what do you think we should do here? Particularly like those family members I mentioned, because they've known husband's entire life. So they might have a better inclination on like how exactly to handle this. And again, also maybe will be someone that he listens to and is able to receive care from, receive support from.
Yes. I broke up with my boyfriend after I lost weight. Everyone in our life is furious. As a couple, we decided that we were going to get in shape together. We love being outside and exercise, and we used to be health nuts and taking care of the food we ate. By the way, this comes from user BFN weight loss. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Do it there. So even though we continued to exercise daily, our food plan wasn't great. So we decided to change it. We developed a health plan. Because of it, I went from 155 pounds in 5'10" to 125 pounds, currently adding muscle and toning.
5'10" and you're 125 pounds?
I have no idea what healthy weights are, but I'm like 6 foot 200. So 5'10", 120 is like thin. However, he stayed the same weight, 6'3", 180, which is perfectly fine. What? I started to get fit. Lots of guys started to pay attention to me, and I've been asked several times to be a model. I won't try to say that this wasn't good. It was really good for me, and my ego and my really low self-esteem is now at a normal level. Life's good, I'm happy, and I'm feeling good. Boyfriend was happy with my new body, always grabbing me, but didn't like the new attention, which is understandable in my opinion. He and I continued to exercise until I was 140 pounds. He then started to come up with excuses. Then after I achieved my goal weight, 135, my boyfriend started to ask for pizza and other things. I said that it was okay for me if he ate it, but I didn't want to. He went nuts, started telling me that I was obsessed with weight loss and that I'm anorexic and other hurtful things. Then when I suggested running, hiking, or some physical activity that we had always done in the past, he would always say no and suggest other things like watching a movie, having a little spice to sleep, or cooking, and would make me feel guilty for leaving to do some exercise. As I've said before, we've done this daily since we met until my 140-pound mark. I was starting to feel really unhappy as all the things I loved that we both loved to do in the past were being neglected. And I am just not a person to stay indoors watching TV and relaxing. I hate it. I have lots of energy. The final thing, I discovered why he didn't lose weight when he was trying so hard. I don't get it. Those were his words. He packed his healthy lunch at home and then would dump it. I'm so effing angry. I hate when people waste food. And he would eat pizza or a sub or McDonald's. I saw a receipt, asked him about it, and after some time, in which he tried to say he didn't remember, he proceeded to confess. I broke it off with him right there, as I've had enough. Wow.
Wow. Okay.
We do still have a lot of story left, but wow.
This is something that where I agree with the breakup is fine. Your personalities are just, you're drifting off. You found new interests, new hobbies that you really love, and you cannot force people to change that way. If they do it with you, great. But if they don't want to do it, you really can't force them. And if you don't want to do it, that's perfectly okay with splitting up.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just the lie that made her do it. I don't think it's the fact that he's like, I don't want to eat that. I want to eat McDonald's. It's more that like she was helping in some way to make those lunches, and the fact that he just threw it away.
Like, it could be the toxic trait of like, hey, I'm doing all of this. Like, I'm getting healthier, and like, you're trying to put that in everyone's life. And like, if they don't say, hey, I don't want that, and that's one thing. But it seems like the boyfriend agreed to like a healthy lifestyle and was like, okay, let's do this together. I'm down for a healthy lifestyle, and just blatantly lied and just like, no, I'm just gonna go eat.
Maybe just the jealousy vibes. Trying to be like, hey, let's eat unhealthy. Let's eat unhealthy. She's like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to keep going.
It seemed like there were just OP had their own lifestyle and the boyfriend had their own lifestyle, and it just split off. Like, they didn't go to movies together anymore. Like, I think you have to find a good median of both. Like, you can have a cheat day. Cheat day is fine. That's allowed if you want. When OP said, oh, the idea of going to the movies, like, I'm just don't want for that. I'm like, you also are dating this person. Like, you guys don't have to have like, okay, we're either doing running or we're sitting on the couch all day. It's like, you guys can go out to dinner. You guys can go to the movies. You guys can do something. But it seems like they both naturally just like weren't agreeing on anything.
Well, let's agree to continue this story. Now, he told everyone that I became a shallow witch when I lost weight, and I want to have a man with abs and be eye candy. Everyone believes him. This is a small town, and I'm being seen as the effing shallow witch. At the same time, he's sending dozens of messages every day, 100 plus, asking me to consider it, that he loves me. What can I do? I love him a lot, and I want to be with him, but now I just don't recognize him, and our fun times of the past are completely lost. I fell in love with his full of energy, always moving persona, not this lazy person. A shadow of what he once was. He promised me that he would change and asked me to go to the doctor because I'm completely obsessed with it. With all these troubles, I lost the additional 10 pounds, which makes his story even more credible. Should I go back to him and trust that he's going to be back and go to a doctor as he asked? Am I completely delusional and out of line? I hate being bad-mouthed. I don't have thick skin, and these comments really hurt me. Reddit, help. There are some comments here. Before we get into the comments, I will say there is such a thing as being too fit, too in shape, where it circles back to unhealthy. Like, I've had friends who worked out until they had to go to the hospital. And I don't know if that's the level of fixation that OP has right here. Like, where you were already starting at, like 5'10", 150, like, is normal, I think.
Some people, like OP says, they have a lot of energy. They like working out. That's okay. But as long as you do it in a healthy manner and you're not obsessed with it.
I think if you get much smaller than that, like, now you're leaning towards not healthy territory. Like 6'3", 180. Like, I can't imagine being 3 inches taller and also 20 pounds lighter. And again, I don't think it's the fact that he's not wanting to lose weight or he doesn't want to eat healthy anymore. I think really the root of it was like that he was just lying. And he's clearly not that lazy if he's 6'3", 180. Like, there's a level of some kind of upkeep going on there.
Back to it with the relationship, they instantly, well, OP broke up with him. Like, you broke up with him, and now you feel bad that he's bad-mouthing you. Like, the bad-mouthing is really dumb, but then you want to get back together with him? I feel like you guys jumped it way too quickly. You should have definitely had a conversation of why he's doing this, rather than, nope, I'm done. Why? Why did you do that?
Yeah. It was a pretty quick decision. Let's get into the update. They're not update, they're comments. Comment number 1, wait, he's 6'3", 180 pounds, and you want him to lose weight? Reply, I'm glad this isn't buried at the bottom. I would love to hear his side, because OP sounds unbalanced and seems to be skewing details to paint her in a better light. Another reply, she was 155 at 5'10". She was already considered normal weight for her height. She or possibly both of them might have some skewed body image issues. Replies, yes, I'm 5'10" and in the upper 130s and developed an eating disorder when I tried to lose weight. Not that BMI is a reliable indicator, but if you plan on getting yourself under that threshold, you probably need the help of a nutritionist or other professional to keep you physically and mentally on track, like they do with film stars losing weight for a role. Then again, everyone's different, obviously. My experiences aren't everyone's, and maybe OP fell to her lowest weight naturally without pushing too hard, then realized she wanted to gain some muscle. At any rate, OP has painted a picture of a jealous, controlling boyfriend who won't accept her breakup. 6'3", 180 is a number you can be proud of, but being possessive or clingy of your SO isn't. Yeah, that was kind of also my earlier takeaway of like, it might just be that he's like getting cringy about other men thinking she's attractive.
She's very happy with everything. It's a good for OP, but you got to take into consideration of how does this make your partner feel? You know, like maybe it went too far, like a little bit too much.
Could be. Also, to OP's boyfriend, that's hot girlfriend syndrome, dude. When you have a hot girlfriend, other people, guess what? Other people can see her with their eyes. And they can tell that she's hot.
Like, again, saying all those bad things and like, oh, no, I love you. And using the I love you or it's like, oh, it's love is not an excuse. That doesn't seem like it's love.
So far, whack on both sides from my perspective. We made healthy lunches. A man who's 6'3" and exercising needs a F ton of food. Her healthy lunches were probably some 300-calorie piece of crap lunch she pulled off of Pinterest. She clearly has no idea about fitness, wanting her boyfriend to lose weight at 180 pounds. Professional male athletes who are 6'3" are basically always heavier than 180. I think long-distance runners who are 6'3" are even 170 to 180. If anything, if he's trying to be fit, he's probably going to increase his weight. She doesn't know the first thing about what she's talking about, and I don't believe a word she says. We've arrived at the update. Let's hop in. It sounds like I've left some important details out. I read all your comments and realized that, but it was too late to reply as there were too many, so I prefer to add some explanations in this update. I thank you all for your comments. I wasn't expecting such a big response. Some of your comments were hurtful, and I don't really get what I have said to deserve that, but I'll try my best to explain myself. First, I never said that we weren't at a healthy weight, nor that I think he is overweight or at a bad weight. I don't know why people assumed that when I never said it, and I don't really get all the weights that were thrown in the post. Every person carries their weight differently, and some of you sounded offended as if I've said your weight is bad. I never said anything about his weight. He was the one who was trying to get fit again, as he went from really fit to somewhat skinny fat, as he was the one who was not happy with this, not me. What I said is that we were not as fit as we were in the past. We were both gym rats and health nuts. Both. I met him at the gym. I have never pressured him to exercise whatsoever. We fell in love because we had similar interests, outdoor activities, exercise, taking care of our bodies. He was really proud of his abs, for example. When we met, he was 6'3", 190, and pure muscle, more than what he weighs now. I was 5'10", and 135, toned. However, we started to relax in the food that we ate. We started to drink more and eat a lot of fast food. Even though we continued exercising daily, we sort of became skinny fat. He and I developed a small belly, and we were not happy with it. Again, both of us. That's why we tried to enter the cut phase, and then we would go into the bulk phase. If you thought that I wanted him to lose weight, you were wrong. I didn't pressure him to do this. He was always talking about how he missed his muscles and how he was stronger in the past. So we decided as a couple that we would be healthy together. He was happy with our progress, but seemed really surprised that his weight had stalled. I was worried about him as I didn't understand why his efforts weren't working. I was sad because he seemed sad with the lack of results. And that's why I was so mad when I discovered that he had been eating fast food behind my back. First, because he was throwing away food, which I'm completely against. Second, because I was researching lots of things and was worried because I didn't understand why he wasn't seeing results. Third, I didn't understand why he was lying to me. I never pressured him to get in shape. I love him either way, so I didn't understand why he was lying to me. Go ahead.
You weren't pressuring your partner, but then you were like, let's go on runs. Let's do this. Let's do that. And you just kept reiterating like, oh, he wants to like just go to the movies. And you're like, no. I want to go do this. I want to go exercise. I want to do this. He seemed like a burden to you, and you made him feel like a burden. I'm not saying that's the scenario, but what we got earlier in the story, again, when Opie said, oh, we don't have the same interest anymore. Maybe he just felt burnt out. It's a thing. It is burnout. Like you get burnt out of working out or you're just fatigued from it, and it's okay to rest, but maybe he was just happy where he was.
I was just mad about being skinny fat because you said that I should be. And maybe she doesn't even realize she did that.
He was just really upset that OP progressed or They did the same amount of work, but OP's progress had results. And her boyfriend didn't have any results, and that probably made him even feel worse.
I think OP's thinking like, I never like explicitly like pressured him. Or it's like, I was never like telling him he needed to do it or else. But it's like, I think just you being so militant about getting in shape, like, is the pressure in and of itself.
I'm not trying to pin this on anyone just yet, but it's like I said, these are two different people on two different roads where we met, we were so happy, and then you converged into something different. It happens.
So I never pressured him into getting in shape. I love him either way, so I didn't understand why he was lying to me. He could have just said that he didn't want to eat healthy, and I'd have been completely okay with it, and he knows that. I never said a bad thing about his body, and I find him quite attractive when he is at 180 or 190 or whatever. When he stopped exercising, I was sad because I lost my partner. I mean, workout partner, I assume. Do you know that activity that you do with your husband since you've met, and that's really special for both of you? That was exercise to us. Since we've met, we've exercised together. We've tried lots of sports and fun outdoor activities. When he started to refuse going, I felt like he didn't want to spend more time with me, and I was sad about it because I felt like we were losing a big part of our relationship. I'm not a person who likes to relax on the sofa, and he wasn't like that either. Again, one of the things that made us fall in love with each other was the fact that he was really active and had lots of energy. He knows that I hate watching TV, for example, and he was like that too. So the change was strange and left me confused. Then I lost weight until 125. Because of the breakup, not because I'm anorexic for F's sake. I'm now in a bulking phase. I just had trouble eating because I was really sad about breaking up with him and our separation. We've been dating for a long time, 4 years, almost 5, and I feel lost without him. I've been crying a lot, and I used exercise to make me think of other things. Oh my God, 5 years over that?
Why did you do that?
There's got to be more than that, right? 5 years? I was thinking like, oh, they've probably dated less than a year. 5 years you've been with this guy and you broke up with him because
He was eating cheat meals behind you.
I know that throwing the food away is cringe. I know him lying to you is not good.
He was cheating on her.
Yeah, he was cheat mealing on her.
I guarantee you, he just felt like a burden. Like, your lifestyle was, I want to go back to the way we were. And he's like, I'm happy with what we are now. Yes, we wanted to work out and get healthy again. But I think OP went back into that old mindset of like, full on grind. I want what we were before. And you can't have that. It seems like his mentality is like, no, I'm in the present. It seems like OP's mind is more so in the past.
For sure, crazy thing to break up over, like on the spot. Not even elaborations. Okay, let's keep going. When I noticed that I was underweight, I immediately forced myself to eat. I don't want to be skinny. I want to be fit. So I thank you for all the concerns, but I guarantee you that I'm not anorexic, that I don't want to be 125. My goal weight is 135, just like I was in the past at the peak of my fitness and health. And at 135, I'm not underweight, as some of you said. It's a healthy weight for me. I'm all for health. I wouldn't aim for anything that would be unhealthy. That's why I'm gaining weight right now. I'm very careful with my health. Finally, about telling people in the city. Well, he decided to talk about our breakup with his friends, and they were the ones who started telling everyone. As this is a small town and his friends didn't like me, they decided to say that I was looking for a health guru and a man with abs and that I'm a shallow witch to everyone. As they are locals and I'm not, everyone believes them. It was not him that told the people. When I made the first post, I thought it was him that was talking about our breakup with everyone, but he told me that he didn't do that. And the ones who did were his friends, and he's angry with them because of it. I was wrong, fortunately. I have no family, and the few friends I have here are his close friends too, so they stood by him. Can't fault them. They know him better than they know me. I'm kind of shy and quiet. So we talked, and he told me that he was concerned about me and wanted me to see a doctor because of my recent weight loss. I explained that I was trying to gain weight, that I didn't want to be 125, and I just lost weight because we were on bad terms and it hurt me that much. He then explained to me that he wasn't the one who told other people about the breakup, that it was the friends and he was disappointed with them. He also said that he wanted to get in shape but couldn't resist fast food. He'd been eating it daily at lunch and was ashamed of not being able to resist the temptations. I told him that he didn't need to eat healthy if he didn't want to. I'd be totally okay with it, and I just wished that he could communicate with me and tell me about his fears. I apologized if I ever came across as a shallow person or someone who wouldn't listen to him. I loved him a lot and didn't want to lose him over such a minor and unimportant thing as fast food. He then confessed that he decided not to exercise more, even though it was hard for him, as he loved it. He decided to stop because he was ashamed of not being able to resist fast food. And he wanted me to be lazy like him so we would be equals that way, which is also an extremely toxic way to think. He said that now we would continue to exercise as we've always done, and he wouldn't try to hide eating fast food, nor would he throw the food away. I ended up breaking up with him that night, and now we are together again. Communicating was very good for us, and I hope that in the future we will remember this lesson and learn to continue to communicate and be honest with each other. Yeah, it's crazy.
He was feeling away and felt ashamed, and you were feeling away, and definitely on him for sure. But I think it was, again, a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, you little goobers just need to learn how to have dialogue. I love him a lot. I can't imagine a better person. He is kind, compassionate, nice, smart, and we share the same interests. We are compatible. He is my dream man, everything I could wish for, and I'm sorry if I misrepresented him in the first post. I hope that I could explain everything. Again, thank you, Reddit. Everything is fine right now, and we're happy. And there's an edit. I'm feeling shifty. It just felt so weird to me that it's like, he's my dream man, it's my true love, like, we're compatible, we're fully this, we're fully that. And it's like, you had literally just before been like, we're completely incompatible, we've lost our ways, he's a completely different person, and for that, I'm out.
Very wishy-washy, but I think it was just like a lot of underlying layers that no one talked about.
You know what I bet you it was? I bet you it was because she thought he was talking smack. She thought he was the one going around, running around, talking smack on their relationship. If that was me, I would also be like, yeah, you know what? We are uncompatible, and nothing about this guy even lines up with me. And you know what? This guy freaking, and he can be lazy forever. Like, I would probably be upset if I thought, but now we know the truth. He's just got lame friends for you, but in the context of him, those friends are good friends. But they're not going about it the right way. And there is an edit. Okay. He never controlled me, my clothes, where I was going, or the people I talked to. He is not the jealous type. He has never done anything physical. He's never forced me to do the spicy tango when I wasn't in the mood. He never did anything like that. This was the first time he lied to me, and he promised he wouldn't do it twice. He tried not to fall in love with me, but was unable to resist because he loved me too much. Why is that bad? Why is the sentence, he could have any girl that he wanted and he chose me, bad for you? Am I not enough? What have I done to make you so angry with me? I know I'm immature and dumb. I know, but several people are, and they are not as criticized as I was. I think this is OP addressing commenters being like, you know what? Shut up. When I wrote the first post, everyone accused me of having an eating disorder, being shallow, masking the situation, lying about what happened, and manipulating him. Now he's the one who is accused of manipulating me and being a diddler. Yes, someone said that about him in a private message, of taking advantage of me. Why does every post I make generate such a hate wave? I'm tired, boss. The comments page was even harder to read than the first one, and it's really hurtful that everyone is saying such bad things about my relationship. I thank you all for your advice and kind words. Some of you were really kind, and I can't thank you enough, but I wanted to let you know that some of your words really hurt, really, and I'm weak. This was too much. I've been reading this with my boyfriend, and he is so hurt. I can only cry for him. He didn't deserve this. Guys, hello? Take your computer, close it. You don't have to read every comment on the Reddit post if it's making you upset. You don't have to do this anymore. Just like how if you stop watching this show, you can always listen to full episodes with stories like this. And you can listen to them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search OK Storytime. All you have to do is search OK Storytime. But we do have some story left here. Keon, do we have anything else to talk about here?
I just really don't understand how you date for 5 years. You're so in love, and this is like the man of your dreams, and then you catch him eating a cookie, and he lied to you about it, and this is like the only time he's lied to you, and you really just jump it to, we're done. I don't understand how that, without having even like a remote conversation, maybe it was just the heat of the moment kind of thing, but even then, it's like, whoa, that was really quick. But I think overall, I mean, great that you guys are happy and you guys are going to work out and, you know, live the lives that you want to live. I just hope that OP doesn't have that mindset of, I want to just be my past self. That's not who you are. You are your present self. And then you can do that for the future. You can at least have some ideals from the past and work on the future, and especially with your partner. You want to do it together and not leave each other.
Well spoken, my friend. So he knew about the backlash that both of us would or will suffer, and we've been suffering from it ever since. But this situation was the worst of them all. He feels disappointed with his friends for telling everybody about something he ranted about in secret with them. Feels tired because of the breakup and sad because of the comments. I won't ever apologize to him enough for what he read about him. He didn't deserve it. That's the final explanation. I don't think there's anything more to add. And there are some comments. Comment 1, and he wanted me to be lazy as him because we would be equals that way. In honesty, now that you're back with him, I would be very cautious about this. This is not the mentality of someone who cares about you. That's the mentality of someone who wants you down in the mud with them. It's really the exact same mentality as OP, though. This isn't about weight. It's about the fact that people change, and he's changing in a way that you don't want to. 5 years at your age is a long time, but please make sure to keep your sights on the things you want in life. Comment 2, quoting, he is kind, compassionate, nice, smart. We share the same interests and we're compatible. He's my dream man, everything I could wish for, and I'm sorry if I misrepresented him in my first post. This kind of sounds like he replaced you and posted this for you, but okay. Please try and get your own friend group in this city. Do not be dependent on this guy, especially as you apparently started dating him when you were 16 and he was 22. Well, that changes only the entire story. Okay. We're almost done. Comment 3. So what is his plan for his friends that have been dragging your name through the dirt? He's disappointed in them, but is he actually going to take any action? If not, that is a pretty terrible new start to the relationship. You say everything's fine now, but it doesn't really sound like it. All his friends dislike you and have been talking crap about you, and you don't have any of your own friends. It still seems like a pretty bad situation. What happens next time if you guys go through a rough patch? More crap talking and you losing all your friends again? Doesn't leave you in the best position, OP replies. He's so sad about it, they disappointed him. I don't think it's fair to make him think about it when he already blames himself for talking to them so much. He'll think about it when he wakes up, I think. Comment was downvoted 35 times. I think Reddit really let you have it on that one, OP, because that's the end of that story.
Like I said earlier, they diverged. As long as they can be mutual on everything and can agree, not that my personality is just sitting on the couch and just hanging out. My personality is just working out. As long as you guys can have a median of, doing both of those things together and not, leaving one behind or dragging one back, is somewhere you can manage it, especially for 5 years of, being together. That's what I think.
My boyfriend's ex-wife is way too involved in our relationship. I'm sick of it.
Or you could add her.
I, female 42, have been single for 3 years. It was a choice I made after getting out of a very toxic relationship of almost 9 years. By the way, this comes from @beautiful8808. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So I decided to get to know myself and heal myself, going through psych and therapy to find out how to become a better person. As I know that when you're in an actual narcissistic relationship, you gain some narcissistic qualities, and I want to be able to nip that in the rear right away. I found myself and have become an almost completely different person, though I am still in extensive trauma therapy. Since becoming single, I have made a lot of new online friends and am part of a community that shares partners. I lost 70 pounds in 8 months, got into the gym, and have turned my health around completely. I can handle my life and my own mental health fairly well, letting people know when I need a moment to process their words or when I need a day to myself. My trauma therapy is even going to start me on another round of EMDR to help get rid of whatever diagnosis he believes I have going on, and my psych doctor is weaning me off a lot of medication that she doesn't believe I need to be on anymore. It's refreshing. However, being a person who dates more than one person at a time is a bit more difficult in the dating field than it is for monogamous people. I recently got on Facebook dating and by chance met a really great guy, Ryan, fake name. Male 41. He's burly and bearded, sweet, attentive, and compliments me all the time. We have a lot of different interests, some that neither of us has a real interest in becoming engrossed in. And while some may think that makes us doomed, I find it healthy. We can do our own things separately while we share common interests in other areas and can make use of our time together better. He's also been in the same dating world I have been in, simply in a different way. He's cultured and handsome and tells me I'm a bad A and cute every day. We have also agreed to keep our relationship ours only for the foreseeable future. We decided mutually after a month to become boyfriend and girlfriend, and things were beautiful for roughly 2 weeks. Dang!
Yikes.
Dang! You only got 2 weeks of that?
I've heard stories of people getting married and then like right after they get married, they become a monster.
Yeah.
At least it happens when you're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah. Long suffering sigh. The biggest issue that I have with this man are that he lives with his not quite ex-wife, Emily, female 38, who has the entire upstairs to herself while they share the main floor. And they have 2 young ones, male 2 and male 7, that run around, as well as a teen, female 16, that is his daughter alone.
Time out.
His not quite ex-wife?
Not quite.
And they still live together?
Legally or emotionally?
It also seems like they're not even separated. B, while Ryan is Mr. Mom, his ex-partner is barely able to take care of herself with her own mental health issues, let alone her children, for more than a couple of hours at a time. I feel that Ryan lets her take advantage of him in more ways than one. However, I didn't voice this because we are still so new in the relationship. Hindsight being what it is, I can recognize that perhaps she has a postpartum thing going on as well, considering they were breaking their marriage up when the youngest was only a little over a year old, and he had told me they'd been falling apart for years. Emily and Ryan have been separated since November of 23, living in the same home and trying to cohabitate for the kids. While I am not particularly patient with every child I come across, I get attached very quickly and I'm very good with them. His children grew on me quickly. Emily and I have even tried becoming friends. We went out and had a few drinks, talking a lot, and got to know each other quite well, I thought. Emily has been in a year-long relationship with someone else, and that day he had broken up with her. She had voiced that she was having a very hard time with me being with her ex, whereas Ryan had reassured me that he doesn't have romantic feelings for his ex. I'd been told that things were mutually fine between Ryan and Emily until I came into the picture. She kept to herself for about 2 weeks after that, until 3 days ago when she admitted to Ryan that she still has feelings for him. A month ago, he would surprise me with a coffee that I like, randomly invite me over or out on a date, or even invite himself over. I always let him take the lead on where we spent time together because he did have children to juggle, and I have my own business that is flexible enough to find time whenever he had it. Since Emily's confession, Ryan had been distant with me, much less messaging, much less trying to spend time with me. I spent that time jittery and worried to death, but scared to push him into telling me what's going on. He finally told me he was coming over night before last, and by that evening, he told me Emily was having a breakdown and he was watching over her to make sure she didn't do anything to herself that everyone would regret. I advised him to call the rescue and let them handle it, knowing the night between us was already a no-go, but he came back with, I don't know if I want to do that, and it wouldn't change me not coming to see you anyway. I said, obviously, but she needs professional help if she's being serious. Yeah, absolutely.
Facts.
After more conversation, I came to the conclusion that she's being manipulative, and he felt the same way, but he was unwilling to change the situation. So she's basically like using this, it's seemingly, to stop him from going out to see her.
Yeah.
That gave me a lot of clarity. Yesterday morning, I finally worked up the nerve to say something. I asked him if we were in trouble, and his answer took a long time to come. Those little bubbles in the chat that appear and disappear were making me nauseous. His message read, I don't know. I'm confused. I always told myself that I would not be the other woman, and this relationship just got extremely messy, so I told Ryan that I was backing away for a day or so to give us both some time to process what we want out of this. It was very rough for me because this brought up old feelings of abandonment and betrayal, as Emily had always been so openly happy to my face, and Ryan went from, I have such deep feelings for you so fast, to, I'm confused and don't know what I want. Well, yeah, he's giving little thing I like to call love bombing. The fact that like you guys weren't quite together, you just got into your official relationship.
Yeah, like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then you're finding out all of this stuff. It's tricky.
Oh, and I bet though that wife is making all the moves she can to get him back.
With a lot of continued conversation, never fighting, we didn't argue about it at all. He thanked me for giving us some time to maturely process this change, told me I'm a bad A, and we stopped communication. My friend, female 32, had to make a bet with me because I kept wanting to break my own self-made boundary and message Ryan. She told me that as long as I don't message Ryan, she won't go buy a nicotine vape. Y'all, that's huge. So of course I took the bet. Good friend. She's like, you know what? I'll go clean. I'll quit if you stop, if you don't text your ex.
That's a great friend on both sides.
Yeah. After 24 hours of going through a roller coaster of emotions, from anxiety to ugly crying, I finally got my head on straight and decided to break it off with him.
Let's go.
Nice. Yeah, you don't deserve all that wishy-washiness. I let him know I would be here for him as a friend, and since he has his own mental health concerns, I assured him that I would check in to be sure he was okay.
That's nice, but
you don't have to, it's not your responsibility. Yeah. It's like, it's nice, but you have to take care of yourself first.
If you guys were together for like 3 years.
Yeah, but like you just became, not
even 3 weeks.
I also stated, as a friend, please continue to look out for your boundaries, look out for manipulation and control. We had openly communicated about all of these things throughout our small relationship, so I did feel comfortable telling him that, to which he wholeheartedly agreed he would do and told me he would love to remain friends. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. But you know what you do have to do? Listen to full episodes with stories like this. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit left to the story, but any final thoughts?
No, it's just tricky all the way around.
Yeah.
OP, you know what you need to do.
You just have to stop.
Go for it.
Yeah, I don't think you have to necessarily, be friends.
No.
Obviously, I feel like that's always what is said.
Also,
and
in a way,
it works.
You brought a couple together.
Yeah.
You could be happy. You could walk away with that.
Yeah. Hopefully they're not together, though. The wife seems pretty manipulative, too.
They're a happy family together.
I don't know. We'll see if those results are good. But there is a little bit more. It hurts so much to know that within my grasp, I had some hope, and now it's been yanked out from under me, but I feel like an a-hole. Should I have fought harder? My 2 closest friends told me I did the right thing. Others congratulate me for being so strong, though I feel so weak. Some people say I should have fought for him because he was now in a relationship with me, and I should have let him know how much he meant to me. I've always been the type of woman who seals off the emotions after the breakup, living with the mindset of, if you don't want me, then you don't deserve me. I feel as if this was the right road to go down, but still I have to ask, am I the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend because of his not quite ex-wife? There's no way, right? You're not the a-hole.
You're not the a-hole.
Like going into the thing of like, oh, you should stay together. Like you should let them know that you're in, you love them, blah, blah, blah. Again, you've been with this man officially 2 weeks, 3 weeks. 2-3 weeks. This is not like, if this were 2 years down the line, it would make sense if you hit a bump in the road and he was like, I don't know if this relationship will work.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, like we can work through this. That would make sense to fight for it. But right now it's like, he has a lot of issues going on.
Yeah. You don't
want to get mixed up in right now.
Yeah. You don't deserve to be mixed up in that either.
But that is the end of that story and the end of this episode.
Yes.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.